Hmm. I'm live. Okay. You know, I think I am going to take my hair down though. Oh, it's going to be cold. It's going to be wet, but I need it to dry. I need it to dry. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat. Oh, shit. hmm. Yeah, I'm cutting bangs. I'm cutting bangs here. Oh, I always forget that it's like backwards. These have gotten too long. It's time. I also need to get my hair done really bad, as you can see. Sound is good. Sweet. Sweet. Wet hair. It'll be drying throughout the process of what we're doing here. Okay, this is it's reversed, so I gotta go like this. Okay. Okay. Did it work? Did it work? Kind of, not really. Oh, because it's reversed. It's reversed. Okay. Oh my god. Oh my god. Hi everyone. I'm so glad. So happy. Happy Friday. Hi to everyone who's in the chat. We got Geraldine in the house. Hi. Got Selena, Joanna, Miss White Swan, Maureen. Love to see ya. Thesis is back. Yay. And absolutely, I will be pulling another card. Hi there, Missing Time. Good to see you back too. Wow. Such a pleasure. Okay. So I got some interesting things to talk about, as usual. Hi, Maya. Welcome back again. Yes, happy to have a new person showing up here. Okay. Hopefully that. Oh, hopefully I don't get distracted by that stupid light. Someone told me, actually gave me a suggestion and said that you need like 2 ring lights. And I guess if you put them on either side, that will help get rid of that glare. So I think I might be buying another ring light here soon. So I got some updates. I actually did make notes this time, so I wouldn't forget anything. But I'm going to go over this stuff as quickly as I can. Which reminds me to get my phone out because I'm going to be reading some of the stuff from there. And then and then what else? And then we're going to be pulling cards. Okay? So hang tight with me. You've stuck with me this long, everyone. I appreciate y'all so much. And I just want to open this live stream with a prayer. And I ask that everyone who watches this now and in the future, that God helps guide them with their higher self to get into alignment with their highest timeline of love, joy, and soul's growth and expansion. And I ask that God, please help me guide the best that I can in using my tarot to help give you the message that you need to hear. So I just want to open with that and say thank you all for coming. Nice to see you, Jason. See you popped in. Glad to see you. Always glad. Okay, so after last week in my cry session, it didn't get really much easier for me following that, because I definitely was still, and I'm very easily still able to be crying about some of the things that I went over with everyone. But I want to share this stuff with people because I know that I'm not the only person who struggles with feeling bad about themselves, even though they're a good person with a good heart and they have good intentions and they're just really out there trying their hardest and doing their best. And so I wanted to tell you guys what my experience was like after I decided to really fully attempt to let go of feeling bad about myself for things that perhaps I shouldn't feel bad about because I wasn't intentionally going out and trying to destroy anyone's happiness or anything like that. I was really just trying to find myself this whole time for years now. That's what I've been trying to do, is just have God guide me to show me who I really am and help me remember my true mission here on earth and to really bring me the truth that I needed in order to know what that is and what to do with it. And so, I've been kind of like even struggling with like, what am I going to talk about? And just so you guys know, I love you all. And I'm going to have to, I'm going to have to kind of ignore the comments section just for a little while. Because I don't want to get too distracted. And I hope that you won't take offense to that I might miss a message or two, because I have had people get upset about thinking that I purposely ignored their messages. This one person in particular wrote me quite upset, texted me and was like, it wasn't the only thing that they were upset about, but they basically were like, I know you intentionally didn't respond to my comment in the live chat. And it was like, that's never my intention. Like I really do. I want to see what people have to say, but when I'm in my flow, I have to kind of just go with it. Otherwise I'm going to get sidetracked. It's almost like when you have kids and you're trying to do something and you're like really focused on whatever it is that you're doing, and they come and they want to ask you something, and it's like every couple minutes they're trying to ask you something, and you know how much brain and power and effort it takes to switch out of whatever it is you're doing to what they need and then switch back. And it's like, it makes everything I swear to God, I remember I used to complain when I would try to watch shows with some of my older kids, you know what I'm saying? And my younger kids would come and they would interrupt and we would have to pause. And I and I would be like, you realize it takes me like an hour and a half to watch a half-hour show, with you guys coming at me every 5 seconds, like, could you just chill, but anyway, so one thing I discovered about intentionally choosing to try and let go of feeling bad about myself and my story, because who wants to feel, it was like almost tainting it was like tainting the experience in a way, because and here's the thing, I didn't even know until I made this effort how much space was actually being taken up by feeling bad. I didn't even know. I mean, it was like imagine you're living in a little one-room house and suddenly, but there's all these other parts of the houses that are shut off, and then suddenly all that is cleared out and it's like you're left with a whole house that is just empty and ready to be filled with something else. There was so much room and there was so much space and it was so quiet. It was quiet inside myself for the first time, and I don't even know how long, maybe ever. And that is when I started to realize that is almost something that it seems like people, especially if you're drawn to my streams, what I'm saying, that we share in common, is that we have somehow developed this self-belief that in self-punishment, and beating ourselves up and making ourselves feel bad, like we don't do enough good out there to show people, to have that consideration be given to us, that we're actually full of love and just want the best for everyone and want people to feel loved and want people to feel happy. And I realize now that this is like a common thread, it seems like, that is like interwoven throughout the community, because now when I am talking and interacting with certain people and everything, and I'm looking at them, I'm reading their words or I'm listening to them talk, and it's like, now I'm starting to be able to recognize that frequency of the bad, feeling bad about themselves, and how much space that and energy that really takes up. And so now I'm like, well, okay, so if I'm trying to be a way shower, so to speak, then I really want people to experiment with this ideal that it is possible to let go of feeling bad about yourself and open up that space for more love, because that is what I've been asking for. I've asked God with my manifestation ritual that we did, me and my girlfriends, like I was asking God to open my heart, open the space for more love to be available, and for a long time, even when it came to like romantic feelings and stuff like that, it's like, when I first had my sacred marriage ceremony experience, I had high hopes that even though I had those feelings, that I would be able to find someone else that I had those same types of feelings for, right? And so I kept looking, and I kept looking and having experiences where it would almost kind of be the same, but then it wouldn't be. It would like fizzle out. Like, this is the longest I've ever had this feeling. And it makes sense to me because it's exactly what I asked for. And I'll get into exactly what it was I asked for, because I want to give people some steps in order to get to the place that I am talking about. Okay, because this is what we are capable of, and this is what we are meant to be here doing in order to fulfill what Lisa Renee calls in her Ascension Glossary the Christos realignment mission. Okay, so but like I was saying, like for a while there, I had no doubt. I'm like, no, I'll be able to. I know it's like my compass now. Like that feeling was the compass. If it doesn't feel like this, then I know that it's not going to be possible for me to give what a relationship would need me to give in order to make it fulfilling and long lasting, so to speak. But my last ex, Braden, he basically showed me that it was possible, that more space could be made, that those feelings could be there for another person, because I'll be real, I was getting a little bit worried. So, but no one will ever take the space that he had in my life. Like, it shouldn't be that you have to sacrifice one love in order to have another, so to speak. Like, you should be able to, in my opinion, hold on to the love that you find. In fact, that was one of the main lessons that God gave me after I did my 40-day mantra meditation program, an inspiration of another man that I had, the first man that ever made me feel truly accepted as I was, And so the first thing I noticed about clearing out the space of feeling bad about myself, not only was that there was so much room, that there was so much energy that was being devoted to that bad feeling, that it was literally tainting my entire experience. And so it was like, anytime I got to push that aside for a minute and feel this loving feeling, I would absolutely like indulge in that. But then it was like that was always lingering there in the background. But how much was I closing myself up from feeling even more love by allowing that to exist? So first thing, one of the other things I noticed was, after I did that, even though it was quiet and there was still plenty of moments where I got to sad points and I wanted to cry, and I did cry. um I talk about my anxiety a lot. I carry a lot of anxiety around. It's part of the reason why I take kratom. It's part of the reason I smoke cigarettes. It's part of the reason why they put me on Klonopin, was for anxiety attacks and everything that was happening to me at the time. And for the first time since I've been going down this road of even prescription drugs, right? For 2 days after that, I noticed, wow, oh, wait a second. I didn't even think about taking Klonopin. Like, I actually had to remind myself the times that I normally would take kratom. The cigarettes thing didn't calm down really yet, but this was significant enough for me to notice, like, wow, so clearing out this feeling bad about ourselves, it will actually start, I feel like, to help heal you from these different things that we are using in order to push down those feelings, maybe, or pretend that those feelings aren't there, or just like to calm ourselves down. I'm sure on some level that makes sense. Okay, how I'm saying that. I'm praying it does anyway. That is the other thing I pray. I pray that I make sense for everyone here tonight, that this lines up and in some way you're able to connect the dots. Okay. So, yeah, I really think it's very important as a collective, that we clean out those spaces where we are feeling bad. Now, how would we go about doing that? Well, for one, speaking it, me just bringing it to the table and just finally just laying it out there and being like, this is what I have felt the worst about. That was what allowed me to clear that space out. So having someone that you can trust, maybe even just writing it down in a journal, like being witnessed, someone bearing witness to your story is just so powerful and moving, that I hope that people out there will be brave enough to take that chance and to find someone that they can trust and to be willing to share those types of things. Because I can tell you right now, like, a true friend, someone who has true love in their heart, they will be there to hold your hand, and they will be there to tell you, no, you can let go of that now. You're a good person. I see that you're a good person. Because that is really where the root of this all stems from, is like, it comes from childhood wounds, feeling like we weren't good enough, feeling like, the things that went wrong and in our lives were somehow our fault, and our somehow we were to blame for that, and getting through that has just been something that I'm still working through. I'm still working through that, but I can say that it's getting better, and I'm quite happy with that fact that it's getting better. So, and that's when I realized, actually, and this is why I put this on the promo graphic that I made, is that what I think I really discovered, and I didn't realize that I was lacking, was self-compassion. I think that I was lacking self-compassion because, how easy is it for us to be there for other people and to see like, wow, like, yes, you maybe made a mistake or you did this thing and you feel bad about it. And we can give them compassion and be like, but you're still a child of God. You still deserve happiness. You still deserve true love. You deserve all those good things that you want. Oh my gosh. I got thrown off a little bit right there. So self-compassion. Yeah. So self-compassion and self-forgiveness, I think, is what I am learning through this experiment of trying my best to clear the way by speaking out what it is that I have felt bad about myself for so long. That's really what I've been doing with, like, through each stream. I've been dropping off little points and clearing that space out. But the biggest one was the one that I released last week. And so I'm really grateful that I was able to get through that because, the thing is, and I've read this a long time ago in this book that I called Trust by Ayanna Van Zandt, which I don't know if you guys really know or remember her, but she was someone that I really liked her work. And so I bought her book when I was, after I'd had my daughter, Sarah. And I just really liked the way her mind worked. I liked how she went. I don't know how to put it. Like, you'd have to really know. You have to look her up. She's like this black lady, and she's like, not on my watch. You know what I'm saying? She would like purposely bring both people to the table, and she would look at both people's stories, and she was able to see and have compassion for both of them, and then somehow find a way to say the words and to do the exercises properly to help the people to have compassion for each other. And so her book was all about learning self-trust. Okay. And so what she basically said in her books, and what she would even say on a lot of interviews, was that when you're really getting ready to do something courageous and brave, then it's going to kind of feel like fear. She used to say basically something along the lines of, when you're getting ready to take a leap of faith, so to speak, that you'll probably be peeing your pants a little bit. And that's actually a good sign. That's a sign that you are on the right track because you're doing something new. You're doing something that is uncomfortable. See, in order to change, we have to get to that point where we feel uncomfortable. And that was the other thing that I wanted to mention, was that bad feeling. Once I cleared out feeling bad about myself, I was left with an empty space, which was also really uncomfortable. It was really uncomfortable because I'm used to, we set ourselves up in this way to where we just recreate the same environment that we had from childhood. And so once we start to change that, our body kind of fights back. And that being uncomfortable feeling in itself feels kind of bad. It doesn't feel good, but I recognize, and I'm just pushing through it. I'm pushing through it because I sincerely want that change. And I sincerely want to show, like, the people that I love and care about how to do the same, how to change for the better, and to not be deterred by feeling uncomfortable or feeling lonely or feeling like you're never going to find that thing that you want, that connection that you want. Like, the only way we're going to get that healthy connection we want is by going through this uncomfortable phase. I told you guys I was going through the abyss. I can't see what's happening in front of me right now. I just have to kind of pull a Six of Swords in tarot, if you guys know anything about that card, where I have to have faith, where I am in alignment with God. I have said all the words that are in alignment with God, and I am pushing forward to see what is going to be waiting for me on the other side. And I trust and have faith, since God has led me this far and done this much for me, that He will help me find my way to those ultimate goals, which is full self-actualization, for one, and true love and true intimacy and respect and, partnership with another human being, So let's see what else. All right, we got some of that off the list there. Okay, we're going to get into some other parts of that in a second. But I also wanted to say on a lighter note, okay, this was kind of crazy because I told you guys, like, I can feel certain people's energies when they're watching my stream, even if it's a later on time, telepathically and empathically. I can feel certain people who are watching it because their energy comes through in a very in a real way that it's like, oh, okay, this person specifically is watching this, and this is what the feedback that they're giving me. And so I know now that it's so funny because I felt a really weird reaction energetically to when I mentioned the fact that I was asking God for a light at the end of the tunnel when I was doing a manifestation, when I manifested my dream home, and I needed someone to help me with that in order to manifest that. And that the person I asked to help me, or the person that ended up helping me, was someone that the type of person they were is the only type of person that would be willing to put themselves out there in the way that this guy did, which was not in a healthy way. This guy was definitely narcissistic, covert narcissistic, which at this point, I mean, it's really old news. But anyway, I felt him watching. I felt him watching, and I wasn't sure. Like I could tell, like he was like kind of disheartened by what I had said, and I definitely didn't mean to or want. I don't want to cause him any more pain or suffering because I know he too has suffered. But he wasn't able to push past his ego's desires and wants and needs in order to see, like, okay, well, if you're going to change, if you want me to really help you change, and I'm giving you all I have in order to help people change is my own experience and the way I've done it. That's just the only way I know how to do it. And I remember one point I told him, I always push the Course in Miracles a lot, and the reason I do that is because for me it worked. But you have to go into these things with the right intentions when you start these types of programs to try and heal yourself. You have to go in it because you want the change you want that connection between you and God, not because, well, if I do this, then she'll love me. If I do this, then she'll love me, which is basically what he gave me instead of doing it. Like I told him, just give it 40 days. And I guarantee you, I thought to myself, if he just does it for 40 days, then he'll start to see the change. And then his own good feelings about that change will take over. And he'll be able to be successful at that. But that was never his intentions. His intentions were only to do it for me, to make me change. And so therefore it didn't work. And at 40 days, he gave up on it. But anyway, long story short here, I felt him watching. I felt his energy and his emotions come through. And I know for sure that he's definitely been paying attention to my Facebook now, because you can tell the people that are interacting with your Facebook posts the most based on the name that they list. It will be like this many reactions, and it'll list someone's name first, right? And his name has not shown up on anyone's post that I've looked at in, I can't even tell you how long. And then suddenly today it showed up on one of our mutual friends. One of our mutual friends had posted something, and I was looking at it and I noticed his name on there, and I was like, oh, so he was watching. He did watch, so it's very, very interesting. I thought I also jinxed myself. I know you guys know we're going into a Mercury retrograde, right? And I told you guys, and it's funny because Mario Majes, I'm not saying that right. Majes, it's Mijes, I believe, or I'm spelling it wrong. I'm saying it wrong. Shambhala Mario is what I used to know him by. He is definitely an angelic starseed. I have seen visions of him in his angelic form. And so he was talking about in one of the posts that he made astrologically about how he's even afraid to speak this one thing aloud because he knows that when he speaks it aloud, he always ends up getting a ticket, like a citation from the police. So he was like afraid to even be saying it, but he was taking a chance and doing it. And I was like, oh yeah, I know exactly what he's talking about, because when it comes to Mercury retrogrades in cars, that type of thing always happens to me. So I remember thinking last week when I was talking to you guys and I was telling you, the Mercury retrograde's coming through, and so watch out for your cars. because that's when car problems can come up if you're going to have a car issue. And even another astrologer lady that I watched was like, on this and during this particular retrograde, that you could have issues with your car, that you'll have to take it in to get it serviced. And I was like, not me though. I'm not going to have that issue. I've already been through enough car issues. Well, obviously you can see where I'm leading with this. Yeah, I had to take my car in this past week because did you know a car needs oil to drive? Holy shit, a car needs oil to drive. Apparently my car, I cannot trust the internal reading systems where it told me that I had 19% oil life remaining, and so my car started acting up. I'm not joking. The day the Mercury retrograde started, my car started acting up, and it started doing this jerky thing. It was like I was at a at stoplights or whatever, and it was just revving. It was just like raring to go. And I'm like, calm down, Persephone, because that's my car's name. Calm down, Persephone. Wow. I'm like, she really is starting to take on my characteristics. So I'm just like, I'm always ready to go, on the road. I'm ready to like speed somewhere. Like the faster I can get to places, the more money I end up making at the end of the night. Right. So I'm driving her and I'm like, okay, well, I'll schedule her for a tune-up. It's probably just a tune-up, right? And so the next day I'm driving her, and now she stalled out twice when I was reversing. She stalled out. So I was so afraid that I just took my car to my mom's house, even though something kept telling me, it kept saying, just go check your oil. It kept saying, go to the oil change place and just get your oil changed. Even though it says 19% oil life remaining, you should just go do that now. But I was so afraid. And the new mechanic I have, I really, really like him and I trust him. So I was like, I just went and I dropped off my car at my mom's house and I traded it out for her boyfriend's car. And guess what was wrong with his car? Mercury retrograde, right? The back brakes were basically grinding. Just the back brakes. Just the back brakes. So now I'm like, wow. So 2 cars now, and we can't hardly use them. So I take the car into the shop. And sure enough, the first thing the guy does is he checks the oil, and it basically said I had no oil. So, oh wow, I'm sorry. I got distracted by the chat. Her car's name is Christine. That's so funny. I love that you named it that. You gotta name your cars. You know what I'm saying? I've named every car that I've had at this point, and I absolutely love that. So yes, just so you all know, equinoxes apparently also, this is why I know God was really trying to show me that it was the oil, because out of nowhere, my mom told me that her friend Shara, who also has an equinox, told my mom to tell me that just so I know, equinoxes are known for burning up a lot of oil. So I was like, oh God, like stupid mistake. I looked totally stupid bringing that in there with no oil, but it was an easy fix. It was like I was done in an hour. They changed my burnt out headlight too at the same time. And I'm back on the road and she is driving great. And I'm just so happy. But, so that's the type of stuff. It's like you can kind of, what you really believe, this shows you how your internal belief systems will manifest themselves somehow. And I just got that belief system reinforced by Mario's post and by my other astrology lady that I was watching. And then boom, it happened. And I didn't listen to my gut. I didn't listen to my intuition. And I ended up, driving her my Persephone, a whole day with no oil. I'm so lucky that she is still working good. Thank God. God was really watching over me with that one. So just so you know, yeah, that's the type of thing that can happen. You gotta know what you really believe. And if you don't know what you really believe, let me tell you something. The way you can see what you truly think and believe, it will show out on the outside of you. It will manifest itself in your life. Okay. Like if you are like, oh, every time I get in a relationship, it's always the same way. These people always treat me the same way. And it's like, but I don't, and you think to yourself, and you would even say even out loud, maybe like, I don't deserve to be treated that way, but yet you always end up being treated that way. And it's like, because there is some subconscious program running that truly shows your belief system to you, and the fact that you're going to attract that same thing again and again and again. And so that's why it's so important to clear these spaces out, to acknowledge what it is that is really our belief system by what's showing up, and to ask God to help us change that, and then be ready to be uncomfortable, because you're going to be uncomfortable. You know, it's not going to feel great. Change doesn't feel great. I wish it fucking did, but it doesn't. So at least not for me. If there's someone out there that, I mean, obviously never say never when it comes to things like that. Anytime I have ever said, oh, it can't be that, no, it works like this. Anytime I've ever done something like that, I feel like the universe has always brought me an example to prove to me that actually that's not the case, that actually this can happen, type of thing. So be aware of that. So now that I have cleared out so much space and I have told basically everything in my story for the most part, besides maybe current things that I've been experiencing, which I'm going to talk about in a second. Okay. The things that I've started to ask God now is just to explain to me why certain things happen. Like, explain to me this experience that I had, God. Like, I want to know why. I want to know how, and you just pray for these things and watch and listen with your heart and your intuition and see if God doesn't answer those prayers for you, especially if you ask the right questions pretty quickly. Okay, so one of the things that I was thinking about was the fact that I just have this ability to be able to get into a certain frequency, a certain energy, a certain heart place, and I have been able to manifest things by just speaking them into existence, so to speak. I'm like, how does that work, God? Like, is that just something? I'm like that can't just be something unique to me. I'm thinking, but I know this is an ability that I definitely have. I've used it so many times now at this point. It's not always easy to get into that place or to ask for the exact thing. So that's the thing I have the hardest problem with, is really deciding what is it that I want to ask for. So I basically just asked God, like, could you please explain to me like how this works? How am I able to do this? And just by coincidence, just by chance, I came across this YouTube video of this girl, and she was explaining how frequency and everything is frequency, right? Like, everything is empty space, really. If you zoom in on everything, this is all empty space. But what tells, like, what gives the code for this to be this material? What structures these things together? Okay. And she basically was saying that it was frequency structures these things together, that it's sound, and sound creates light. So everything is sound and light. Okay. And if you think back to the Bible and even the story of God creating the world, he spoke, he said, let there be light. And then there was light. Right. And so I felt like Spirit was telling me that is part of our natural God creatorship, our godhood, so to speak, is having that ability. But you have to tune yourself into that frequency, and you have to start really believing and knowing what that connection with God, like, what does God feel like inside your body? So that way you are able to speak things into existence. And I think that this was such a powerful and strong ability that I had in the past, that they basically were telling me that this is how I ended up taking a vow of silence after I had a tragic lifetime where I lost someone that was the most beloved to me. Okay. And so I basically took a vow of silence after that. And I honestly even saw that there was a lifetime even where they literally cut out my tongue. They literally cut out my tongue, so I could not speak things into existence anymore. And so now I am in the process of reclaiming that ability, and I want other people to be able to reclaim that ability in themselves too. It takes some practice, and it's going to take breaking down those belief systems that it's not possible. I just happen to have had an experience when I was a teenager with that first happening, where I spoke into existence the love relationship that I ended up having. So because I took the chance in doing that, that's what started to break that chain. But I just didn't know how. Well, like, is this something I can do all the time? Like, how exactly does this work? And so I kept trying with, like, later on, like, I did lose my faith for quite a while. I'm not gonna lie. I went through some really dark years, and I didn't even try to do anything like that. But every time I did get into this certain place, this certain frequency, where it's like I truly opened myself up to the ideal and the possibility that whatever it was I was asking for could be delivered to me by God. And when I am able to do that, miracles happen. True miracles happen. A Course in Miracles taught me how to will miracles into my existence. And so I will never stop preaching to people to do the workbook, okay, which takes a year of commitment. And it doesn't mean you have to, you can miss a day, you can miss a week even, you know what I'm saying? But you need to pick it back up and go back at it when you're done. If you're going to try it that way, there are other ways. There are other ways to get around this and to break down that internal programming and to help bring you fully back into alignment with who and what you are, which is a spark of divine creatorhood, the divine creator. That is your spirit. That is your life. It is what gives us these bodies life, because we are not our bodies. Our bodies are part of the journey. The ego personality that comes along with it is part of the journey. But one day we leave these bodies behind and we go on and we continue to live because we're immortal, because we are God himself, you know? So I just wanted to get that out. Okay. So God answered my prayer. You know, God, like now that I have all this extra space open, it's like before I was so focused on the, like in the smaller room, all of these experiences that I'd had and just trying to organize them in a way. I could even see it. It was crazy based on that movie Arrival that I talked about, and how they showed their language, and it was a circle and it would be in different shapes. The circle would have like different like textures or like thicknesses in certain ways, like almost like an ink blot, you know what I'm saying? And it's like they were analyzing it with the computer, and they were showing how all of these connections, like everything was tied together. So it was like almost like a download, you could call it. So it was like when my soul braid walk-in came in, they gave me this huge download, and I have literally been unpacking it for 8 years. I've been unpacking this download, you know? And so I realized now that was, and in the Arrival, basically she was a linguist and she was trying to translate. She was translating with these beings, and they taught her their language, and that language was the key to unlocking time, you know? And I feel like that is basically what God has guided me to do. He's guided me to understand his language better so that I could unlock time and be able to tell you guys, like, I'm a time traveler, you know what I'm saying? Like, even if in the simplest ways, being a time traveler could just be you consciously connect with a past version of yourself, or you consciously connect with a specific event or place, like a remote viewing, but you're actually going to that place. Like, how do you think remote viewers can view things that have been in other times and other time periods? They're literally time traveling with their consciousness. Now, I know there's more to it, but anyway, but that's as far as I've gotten. And the more I ask about it, the more God will give me information, and the more I will come out and I will share this stuff with you. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to talk about, and I don't really have this put in order, so this might be a little bit choppy, and please bear with me, because it's just, these are the things, like I said, that my heart gets most excited to share. I haven't been excited to share any more movie or show things right now, necessarily, so to speak. But there has been these things that because I'm like, I got to be able to share some type of show or some type of movie, because that's who I am. That's what I do. I'm like, but that's not what's getting my heart the most excited to think about, to talk about. So the next thing that I asked God to explain to me and help me understand was this one particular experience. First of all, I want to understand, like, okay, if I was activated by my genetic equal twin flame into a sacred marriage with God in no time, according to the Ascension Glossary, which I'll remind you guys quickly, like, when my soul braid walk-in came to me, they told me that Anubis had my heart. Now, I was completely out of spirituality at that point. I was not in it at all. I've been through the 10 darkest years of my life where my guides, I literally could not hear them. And that's because the frequency you are in is dependent on the beings that you're able to communicate and hear. The higher in frequency you get through love and joy and happiness and all of those things, the more those types of beings are able to communicate and talk to you. So I literally cannot hear my guides when I'm in those lower levels, you know. And what is one of the main ways that they keep us stuck in those lower levels? Let me tell you, prescription drugs. You know, I was on Prozac, which is basically concentrated fluoride. I was on Prozac for years, and it just to numb my emotions because it was too much. And so that literally kept me shut off from my connection to God that I had developed and I had been so lucky to have in my early 20s. Okay. So, to get back to what I was saying, was I basically was asking God, okay, about this, like how did that happen then? Like how is this guide that I say that is here, right? How is it possible that it could really be who they are telling me that they are? You know what I'm saying? How can that really be? Because I supposedly when you die, you know, and you go and you have your life review and you don't stay around for too long. I mean, even though time doesn't exist up there at all. So it's like, okay, well, I suppose you could do that in the interim, you know, between lifetimes. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, I don't know, something just feels like there needs to be some tweaking there. How is this possible? You know, and of course, God lined up the information for me, and I have that information here to share with you because that was my point I was getting at. So they told me when my soul braid walking came that Anubis had my heart. It just so happened that the Ascension Glossary talks about an Anubian black heart. That is literally, I couldn't even believe I found it. I mean, 4 years later, I don't even know what brought me to the Ascension Glossary or what made me type in a Nubian black or a Nubian black heart. I don't even know how I got to that page, but I know once I got there, it was like click. This was what they were telling me. This is what I was seeing. I was seeing my starseed diamond heart crushed by severe traumas and bad emotional repression was just locked around my heart. And so we had to break that back open and and give me a new heart, basically, which was the blue fairy heart. I've said this before, but we're going to be going over that a little bit because that is one of the steps, right? Okay, so I've been asking God, you know, about this one particular experience that I had, and this is what I think led me to the answer that I'm going to share with you guys now of what I think my ultimate conclusion has been. Okay, let me take a small little breath though for a second because this is a lot. And I'm trying my best not to light up a cigarette. But I do have my vape so that way I can still, you know, like I can still get that. Hey, Missing Time. ACIM is A Course in Miracles. It's just shortened version, a shortened little acronym or whatever for A Course in Miracles. Okay, so now that we've taken a few little breaths of nicotine, I should be able to calm down a little bit more so I can get through this. Because like I said, I wrote down some notes, but I didn't exactly put them, I feel like, in the order that I wanted to in order to go over them properly. So back when my ex Braden was still around, I had this experience where we were hanging out or whatnot. We were together and I had my eyes closed and I was kind of in a meditative place, I guess you could say. And you know how usually when you close your eyes, like you just see black, or like if you're in a real deep meditative state, sometimes you'll see colors, which for me, it started out as like just a little dot of a color. Okay. And it was like a little blue dot. And then the more I got trained to get into that meditative state, the bigger the color got. It got bigger, and then it took up the whole space, and then it would do this vroom, vroom, vroom type of thing in my mind's eye, because that's the third eye. My third eye had been opened. Okay, so now, like when I share my experiences with you, talking about seeing my astral dragon boyfriend, you know, and how I taunted him basically, like, when's the last time he's been around here? And then he came and visited me that night. And the reason I know that is because I literally felt like a dragon, like a Komodo type dragon, get on my bed and come forward over top of me. And so in order to see it, I closed my eyes and I looked with my third eye, and I could see that it was this dragon, you know, which was red, but the reason he was red was because it's like it was like an etheric body. Okay, so it was like it inflames itself. Like that's the best way I can describe it. So here we are. I'm hanging out with my ex, and I'm in that meditative place, and out of nowhere, this bright, like I'm talking bright, like sunshine bright, this bright sunshine golden light body entity person starts to drop down into my space. And this is why I have the picture of what I started with today. Okay, that's the promo picture that I have. That man that is glowing with golden light, and he has wings, right? And so this being came down into the space, and I was kind of like, and they announced themselves. That's the thing, they announced themselves. They said, it's me. They announced themselves. And I was thinking to myself at the time, I was like, I could barely even look at them. They were so bright. It was hard to look at with my eyes closed. My third eye could barely even stand looking at it, because it was literally like looking at the sun itself. And they announced themselves, and they said, I'm here, and I was thinking to myself, like, what are you doing here right now? Like, okay, like, that's interesting. And so later on, a couple, I don't know, like maybe 10, 15 minutes later, and I didn't say anything at the time. I didn't tell Brayden at the time. But then he told, because, like I said, it was like this other person who announced themselves, and they're like, it's me, I'm here. And I'm like, okay, like, I've never seen this form of you before, but like, this is kind of interesting. I'll take it, whatever. And later on, we were sitting there, and out of nowhere, Brayden tells me, oh, just so you know, when we were together just a minute ago, I called this person into our space because I thought that perhaps our energies together could heal him, because he's struggling with health issues at the time. We all struggle with health issues, right? At this age, when you get to in your 40s, you're going to be struggling with something. And so he knows how deeply I love and care about this person, and he wanted to help heal this person too. And so he said, yeah, just so you know, I called him into the space at that time, so that way we could send our energy together to help heal him. And I said, well, that's really crazy, because they showed up. I said, they showed up in this completely different form that I had not seen. And it was like a golden light body, and so I've been thinking about that. Like, what was that exactly? How did that happen? And because I proposed that question to God within 24 hours, right? Like, I was going through some Instagram reels that my best girlfriend had sent me. And I came across this Instagram reel, and it was basically talking about how the point of enlightenment, that there's more stages to enlightenment than just waking up consciously in the human body. That what you have, the next step, okay, because after you die, there's like two deaths, right, so to speak. Okay, so your body dies, and then your ego or something is dissolved, basically, is what it said, unless you are able to build a golden light body, which that is how bodhisattvas are basically created, is what I really took away from it. And that has been one of the main goals that I have proposed to God years and years ago, before all this stuff started happening to me. Like, that was what I asked God. I said, you know what I would rather do, instead of going, because I know once you reach a certain level of consciousness, even in your spirit wise, like, you can merge and just become one with God, and you become one with the infinite, and like, you let go of everything, and I was like, well, I don't really want to do that. I still have some ego going on in me. And I was like, but what I would like to do is get to the role of bodhisattva, because from my understanding, bodhisattvas get to stay in the collective and offer their help and assistance. That's why we know of certain bodhisattvas, you know what I'm saying? And people can pray to certain bodhisattvas, because they are the ones that reach. It's like a step down from Buddhahood. Okay. So this Instagram reel was basically talking about how, in order to maintain your memories of who you have been basically in all your lifetimes, you have to create a golden light body. And so I was like, okay, God, like, clearly I feel like this person is going to manage to do that. I think that this is what they've ultimately been telling me, is that the reason I have this person here with me is because they reached the status and they reached the level of climbing that Jacob's ladder of ascension, which I've talked about a lot of times. So I'm sorry if I don't go over the details of it again, but on the 7th rung, you reach the level of God man. Okay. And so, which can embody like higher frequencies of God's love and light. And so I was like, so perhaps that's who I'm dealing with. So they're telling me that this person in their human life, in their human journey, they're going to reach the point of God man, and they're going to be able to create a golden light body from themselves, because how else would they have all these memories and be able to talk to me about certain things that they've been able to talk about, right? And so I just started asking God, like, well, how does one build their golden light body? How do we do that? Because I want to know how to do that. Like I want to be able to do that. And I want to be able to tell other people how to do that, because that's how we're going to ascend the whole collective human consciousness faster. And sure enough, I was driving around, I've been thinking about it, and boom, it finally struck me, because I never fully understood what it meant, why I even call myself a solar feminine Melchizedek. Because years ago, my guides told me that sometimes in the world that I come from, that I was called a Melchizedek diamond, or a diamond Melchizedek. That is what they told me. Now I figured and I assumed that this was just because I have a diamond heart, because that's the heart of a starseed, is a diamond heart. And because I'm from the Melchizedek, the blue flame lineage, basically. Right? Well, as it turns out, solar feminine Melchizedek. I'm like, that was a solar body, the golden light body. It shined like the sun. That's a solar body. So that is inherently, it clicked. That's what we created together when we came together, okay, and activated each other, so to speak. Like that was what I needed. I needed help activating fully, and I'd been asking God for that, like, help me activate fully, help me remember my mission, right? Help me remember who I am and what my purpose here on earth is. And in order to receive the things that I was asking for, and then the other thing that I asked for too, I'll just put this one out there too. I also asked, because somehow some part of me recognized at one point from an interaction between my daughter and her father, that part of the reason that I had been creating so much suffering for myself as far as love goes is because that my divine masculine template had been corrupted. And so I thought to myself, wow, like, I'll never be able to fix that. Like, God, like, I'll never know what that's like. I'll just keep attracting these same things, because of the fact that I have this corrupted template. And so what I really was hoping for and wanting was God to help me rebuild my divine masculine template. Now, I asked for this even after I asked for all the other things, which that is one of the essential things that you have to get in alignment with. You have to find a way, and we've all been through so much suffering. I don't believe it's going to be so difficult, that this step will be so hard for people to do. Just doing things on our own, from our own human ego, with our limited perspective, it prevents us from being able to figure this out, because we have to surrender. And that's what the Course in Miracles teaches. You have to be willing, you have to open your eyes up and be able to see that we do not perceive as humans. We do not see as far as we need to in order to perceive the best outcome, what is in our own best interest. So we have to be willing to give control over to our higher self, give control over to God, and ask God to take control, and ask God to guide you, even if it doesn't make sense, even if it, it's pushing you out of your comfort zone. Like, it's a necessary requirement in order to reach the levels of love that we all want to end up going, And so this is what I had asked for. Yes, I had asked for to because at that point I had been so burnt in love. I was like, that wasn't my main goal anymore. My main goal was not give me a romantic partnership, God. My main goal was help me remember who I am. Help me remember my connection to you, God. Help me rewrite this divine masculine template so that way I may have hopes of showing that to my daughter, and so that my daughter can go out there and do better than I have done. Because I certainly do not want to see any of my children suffer in the ways that I have suffered. Okay, so once this clicked for me that, okay, so the golden light body is built, okay, from coming into contact with a genetic equal or a twin flame, so to speak. Okay, and then that is when you are reunited in the sacred marriage where you are united with God again, where you are united with your divine masculine half, and you become that one being again, so to speak. Like it. Anyway, we're going to go over some of the, I'm going to read some of it. Now I'm going to just warn you guys, there is a lot of, it's like technical type of stuff. Okay. It's going to sound, but I feel like it'll resonate in your heart if this, in the same ways, if this is in alignment with what it is that you're here to do. I just don't believe that, because for me, when I would read the stuff, okay, which she get, like I said, she gets very, it's like a bunch of almost spiritual, it feels like it could be spiritual jargon, like type of stuff, words, like things that just, you have to stop and contemplate. What does this word really mean? What does this really mean? Okay, in order for God to really start to download that true meaning of it in you. And I'll give a small example. Okay, it's like the word happiness. Now, if you grew up, okay, and let's say you never experienced what happiness was through some god awful circumstance, you never really were ever able to experience happiness. And then you see someone outside yourself and you see someone and they're acting happy and they're feeling happy. Well, how would you know how to identify that feeling inside yourself? How would you understand what, so is it, oh, can you label what that person might be feeling? And you would look at them and you would be like, I'm not really sure, maybe excitement, maybe, or something like that. But if you didn't know happiness, you wouldn't be able to put the label on it. So it's the feel, it's that knowing, we know what happiness is. Happiness is more than just a word. It's a feeling, it's an experience, and so that is basically what they were bringing me. Sorry, my mom just wrote me. Her cat ran away and came back. Yay for my mom. All right, so what I had asked for and why I call myself a solar feminine Melchizedek is because I had asked first and foremost, and these are the steps that I'm trying to give you guys, okay? First and foremost, I had asked to remember who I was. I had sacrificed my own ego's desires for a higher purpose. It's like you can't do that completely. I want the bigger message here to be taken away. Like I said, I surrendered to my higher self, and I was insistent upon it. And I said it, and then I started living that way. You know what I'm saying? Like trusting God, trusting those intuitive moments where inside me it was like, oh, this is truth, because the frequency of truth starts to stir inside you, and you're able to start recognizing when those true things come along, because that's the divine, that's like God's love. You'll feel it. It feels like God's love, right? Okay. And so I'd asked to remember my true mission, which was part of being a solar feminine Melchizedek, was she had to be driven by her desire to remember her true mission. And that would start to activate the rod and staff codes inside her, which was her spiritual DNA, basically. And that in activating, and that it had to be the female first. So ladies, listen up, because this is another reason why we are so important. The female has to wake up first. Okay. And waking the feminine, the solar feminine Melchizedek, and waking that up inside of you. Okay. That will send out a call to your other genetic half, your other genetic equal, your twin flame, so to speak. Okay. That will send out the call for them to also have their rod and staff codes start to rebuild. Okay, like basically, like the masculine, he holds the rod codes, the female holds the staff codes. All right, and I just so happen to have come across someone in my life where I physically saw 3 separate sound waves that looked like come off of them. Okay, I saw sound waves, and I was like, what in the world is this? I'm gonna figure out what that was, God. And spirit even was like, follow them. And I was like, okay, yeah, absolutely, because I want to understand what that was that I just saw. And so part of what I was doing, because I was into meditating and stuff like that, and I would look and I would say, God, show me who this person was to me. Show me who this person is to me, so I can understand. And they would always show me the same picture. It was this picture of a really tall Egyptian statue of a man, and he was holding a rod and a staff. Now, this was years before I ever came across any of this information. This is what they kept showing me. Okay. And then eventually, this was the person that ended up fully activating me. All right. And now I know why, because that's what I was asking. I was asking God, why? Tell me why. Just explain it to me so that I understand. And through synchronicity and divine guidance, he guided me to all this information, and come to find out that, yeah, that's what has to happen. That I had done these steps unknowingly, and then God brought me the information. At one point I had asked for, during this whole, roller coaster ride that I'd been on, and me just trying to understand, I had come across the term genetic equal even. And I thought, oh man, that sounds so much better than twin flame. It's like people have not gotten a hold of that word yet and corrupted it completely yet. And, I was like, yeah, you know what? That's what I want. And I did a manifestation page for it. And I was like, yeah, God, you're going to bring me my genetic equal, just like all the other manifestations I've done. You're going to bring this genetic equal. And that was when my guide said, you should look up what genetic equal means. Okay. And so I ended up looking up genetic equal in the Ascension Glossary. And the first thing it takes me to is this solar feminine Melchizedek. Now, I'd already been told that I was sometimes called a Melchizedek diamond. And the first thing I look up when I look up genetic equal is solar feminine Melchizedek. And then I sit there and I read it, and it's like, oh yeah, the person who is going to activate you at this time is going to be the person that holds your rod and staff codes. So I'm like, oh shit, like they already lined me up with them. This has already happened. This is like after the fact now. And so I'm just going through the glossary, and I'm reading all of the different little things about it. And I've read this to you guys before. I've read the solar feminine Melchizedek page for you before, and it's basically like it talked about the fall and everything, like how we had to wait for a certain frequency on the earth to be high enough in order for the staff codes to be reclaimed properly. And I remember at one point they even sent me the song Supermassive Black Hole when I was starting to research all this stuff again. And it was crazy because in the Solar Feminine Melchizedek, it talks about how there were parts of our souls that were locked into phantom matrices that were black holes. Okay, so it's like all this stuff was like, it was like click, 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 click. And it was just the most amazing thing. And now here we are again. And now I'm like, okay, well, what was that golden light body I saw? What was that? And then they're like solar feminine Melchizedek. So that's what we naturally built. And suddenly I remembered the picture that I saw from a description of the building of the golden light body of the true Heroes Gamos. I don't know if you guys have heard of that. It's like true union, true divine union. Okay, so I'm just going to make it easier on myself, I'm just going to read some of it to you guys. And if you're interested in it more, and if you're interested in knowing more about the Christos alignment mission, then you can definitely scroll back up to the top of the chat. And I have 2 links that you can go and you can look at it. And then, but right before I start, the last thing I want to just remind you guys, if you're not aware already, which I think most of you are at this point, when it comes to me talking about my story, when it comes to my sacred marriage to God, or my high heart activation ceremony, this is another way I put it, is that Spirit compared it to the 5th element. And what happens at the end of the 5th element, she's filled with golden light that just shines out of her like the sun. And that is what destroys that big giant black ball, which maybe that is representative of the black hole phantom matrix, is what I'm thinking, So let's go over it though. So I click over into the Hieros Gamos, and it says this, that the Hieros Gamos is the wedded garment of God, wearing the white robes of the One. Hieros Gamos refers to the risen Christos Sophia as the embodiment of the inner hierogamic union between the human being and the divine. Hieros Gamos is the full resurrection of the body to the eternal light of Christos, cosmic Christ consciousness. In the bodies return to energetic balance, neutral in the unity field of 0 point. The light body being is one with God, and the Christos body is glorified in its perfection as the representative of God's eternal light image. And it even shows you like a little picture of like two people, and like they got all this like rainbow light around them and everything, but look at the color of them. They look like that sun that I'm talking about, that sunlight that came off from the person that I saw drop into my space when he was summoned forward. Okay, so it says, in the Hieros Gamos coupling, the genetic equal of the monad unites with its counterpart to embody the sacred marriage of Christic equals, to merge into one spiritual body to hold the spirits of Christ. A Christic male and a Christic female unite in Hieros Gamos, or rod and staff union, as the Christos Sophia, to be of service within God's eternal light divine plan to correct the Sophionic body and to restore liberation of ascension upon the earth. Like, so this clearly is like we are in end times, you know what I'm saying? And this, the Christos realignment mission, this is the entire point, was for us to get to this point to where the earth could handle these energies and we could bring back these templates for the earth. And just us existing in itself radiates an energy that is necessary for the earth to help raise its frequency and raise the consciousness of everyone. Hieros Gamos is the embodiment of the new cosmic ray frequencies of Mother Arc Aquamarine and Father Arc Emerald Green hues, and their DNA lens being introduced to the universe. These frequency colors represent the Aurora body. Can't make this stuff up. The Aurora body. Okay, these frequency colors represent the Aurora body guardian consciousness of the united Christic forms embodied in the future sovereignty timeline of the GSF, which is like galactic, I forget what it was, but it's basically like the Christos realignment mission, just in another way. An interdimensional resonator plus bass tone, overtone, and resonant tone amplifier. Okay, so that is just fascinating. But then she has more down here, okay? And so because that was one of the other things that they kept telling me, like that it was like outside of here, we're together. Like they were trying to, my guide is trying to tell me, like outside of here, we're together. The spiritual marriage happened outside of here. And literally it says, it's called a spiritual marriage in no time. And again, like that golden light, you know? Okay, so, and here's another thing just to oddly mention is that between my mom named me Cassandra. Okay, guys, Cassandra. Okay, but she was going to name me Crystal. It just so happened that she named me Cassandra, which the thing that I struggle with my name the most, because names have meaning, and I feel like this has been one of the biggest battles I've had with myself, is because Cassandra was a prophetess who could foresee the future, but no one ever believed her. She was cursed. No one ever believed her. And I truly have felt like that. I even was realizing that as I was trying to tell my mom what was wrong with my car. It was like taking me back to childhood, where it was like she was basically acting like I was over worrying about it and that there was nothing wrong with my car and I could just keep driving it and, oh, we'll just take it in. It'll be nothing. It'll be fine, you know? And it was like infuriating to know, like, she even wanted to test drive my car herself in order to like prove to herself that I was telling the truth or something like that. And so I feel like that's one of my childhood wounds that I have been learning how to overcome and realize, like, okay, the person whose beliefs should matter to me the most is my own, quite honestly. And I can't worry about if other people believe this or not, because I know that the way I manifest and how specific I make my manifestation confirmations is so, it could be looked at as so fantastical. It's like, it's got to be hard for some people to believe it, especially for people who haven't experienced the type of miracles that I have experienced. you know, so I've always been fighting. In fact, one time they came and they delivered a message to me, and I told them I didn't believe them. You don't know how many times I told them I don't believe them, and they were like, we do not require your belief, is what they told me. And I was like, well, that's fine, because you don't have it at the time. You know, I was like, that's fine. But now I believe it, and now I trust God, and I trust myself. And so here I am sharing this with you guys, because I want more people to realize that this is part of our purpose. Maybe you have this mission too. Maybe this is part of your ultimate goal. All right. The crystal star template, of which was previously referred to as the spiritual marriage in no time, has been returned to the Earth Logos in 2012, basically, through the alchemical restoration of the Heroes Gamos, connected through the Unity Logos, a guardian project to rebirth the planetary Logos. Heroes Gamos, or Hirogami, is the sacred marriage of a human being with divinity, the inner spirit, and the unification between all life expressions and its levels of opposite. From the guardian perspective, spiritual ascension comprises the science of the spirit, encompassing the entire creational mechanisms of how spirit and matter travel throughout time and space. Sounding a little bit Doctor Who-ish to me there on that one. At certain levels of frequency conjunction within the spiral of time, access is possible to new DNA templates and therefore embodiments. The planet has reached that access in time. Heroes Gamos is a sacrament that represents sacred marriage at the individual level, to the relationship level, to the group level, as a part of spiritual ascension, moving through the spiraling staircase of time to experience unification with or marry all aspects of God. When we marry God through the sacrament, Christos Sophia returns in our sacred crystal hearts. Okay? Now, a funny little fact here, the spiritual marriage, they have a mathematical pattern, which apparently the female spin is a 13 to 13 and the male spin is a 12-12. Okay, which, as a little funny side note tidbit here, I actually got my second marriage was on 12-12-12, 2012. It was like 12-12-12. So it's like almost like part of me was always knowing, and this is what I'm asking for, God. I'm asking to remember this is my true mission, to get into alignment with God again and to become one with God again. But that could only happen for me and for other people too. Like, this is true, right? If you are able to attract your genetic equal, there's only one person that could do this, fulfill this for me. Okay, just the same way as it is for you. Now, that doesn't mean anything outside right now other than complete reunion with your divine masculine, your divine feminine, and with God. It's almost like the Holy Trinity, the Holy Trinity. So think of it like that. That's at least how I like to think about it. All right, but if we go down to the levels and the stages, it says level 1 of the sacred marriage is building wings. Okay, and we're going to go to that, a little bit more description of that in a second, because there's some parts I'm going to have to try and just summarize it, because there's so many like different little tiny things that I was doing and didn't even realize that I was following this pattern. I was following the blueprint, so to speak. Okay, so level 1 is building the wings, which that was one of the first things that I used to start envisioning when I was doing my meditations, was imagining having wings. Okay, and I don't know if that's all you need to do in order for building the wings, besides also getting into alignment heart-wise, intention-wise, like what is your goal here, right? All right, so this is where it starts to really freak me out. Okay, level 2 of the sacred marriage is building the blue crystal lotus heart. Now, during the Gifts of Spirit meditation group that I did on December 21st, 2020, I think it was like the ones and the twos were all throughout the date. Okay, that is what Spirit gave me the gift of. They gave me the heart of the blue fairy, and what it looked like was the sacred geometry shape that called the chestahedron. All right, but it was a crystal heart, And I knew that it needed to spin, and I knew it needed to light up somehow. I knew it was supposed to do that. It needed to be activated. And I remember asking at the time to my guides, and I was like, this is great. This is a beautiful gift that you gave me. But how do I turn it on? Because this heart is supposed to be on fire, and it's not. And they were like, you'll know when it happens. And certainly I didn't know when it happens. The third level of the sacred marriage is the Hieros Gamos, the hydroplasmic liquid light of the risen and embodied Christos principle. Okay, which very much sounds to me like, again, just think of the image of the fifth element at the very end when she is awakened and fully activated, because that fifth element was love. The fifth element that was missing was love. She did not know love. And I truly did not know love in that way anymore. I had been killed to the point where my heart, my emotions, it had been killed to the point where my original soul or whatever left the body, and I had another version of myself come forward and step in to take its place. And my body, I had to consent physically to allowing this to happen. And I'm forever grateful that I did. Okay, so I promise this won't be too much longer because we are at the end of all the other things that I wanted to talk about. But I just want to go over some more of this with you. All right, it says, so there are distinct stages of spiritual body development in relationship to the energetic merging of the polarities of forces that directly impact gender centers. The integration of these forces is that which result in the integration between the masculine and feminine counterparts existing within each triad. Currently, the blueprint restoration of the Trinity architecture that is necessary to unite spiritual marriage at all three evolving levels is being supported in the planetary logos. This changes the nature of all gender-based relationships to be brought into energetic reconciliation. All of the spiritual marriage stages of development may be held by an extension, twin, or genetic equal, incarnated, or existing in another dimension. More humans will attract relationships from these future timelines, noted as stages, that are designed as levels of spiritual marriage to support the integration of gender polarities and to end past timeline karmic patterns. With spiritual relationship awareness, at certain stages, couples can travel through the spiritual marriage developments together consciously. Each gender may have a timeline stage that is a complement required for their gender opposite partners polarity integration. So what I think it's saying is that it doesn't have to happen at the same time for each person. Like, that's how I'm taking that, is like it can happen consciously at the same level, but it doesn't have to happen that way. These are briefly described as a guideline for the following spiritual steps of development in the ascension process and building the light body. So the first one is building the wings. Okay, the first stage, it says it's alchemical union, and they talk about 2 to 4D astral relationships, and then they go over a bunch of different terms that you'll have to go and you'll have to read for yourself, because it's like, okay, I'll read a couple of them. It's like ancestral miasm. These are the things that you're reconciling inside yourself. Sexual amplification, karmic issues, past timeline memories, phantom matrices, false ascension matrix, black magician trauma, or astral dark arts training, negative forms or clones, Egyptian trauma, Lemurian trauma, inner child trauma, telepathic, victimizer for healing, high-risk dark manipulation, and trickster, acts as a catalyzer for spiritual ascension and awakening. So that's the first part of the building the wings, is stage 1. Stage 2 is the soulmate, it says. Okay, and then it says 5D future Earth timelines, Palladian influence, 5D ascension memories, Mayan calendar influence, shamanic studies, false umbilicus reset, soul extension, shared identity, receiving ego archetypes in identity, study of archetypes and patterns such as tarot, numerology, astrology, all of the alchemical union influencers. And then step 3 is the twin soul, it says. Okay, it says 60 Syrian and indigo blue ray influence, Jesus/Magdalene influence, other planet or future memories, soul extension, shared identity, geometric shapes and crystal modalities, all of the alchemical union influencers when level 1 triad is integrated, the whole triad of 4D, 5D, 6D merges to evolve the rod and staff union. Level 2 triad, the sacred union or rod and staff code union. So that's the first part of it. Okay, but then the second part of it is called the crystal lotus heart. All right, and it says level 2 of the sacred marriage is the building of the blue crystal lotus heart. Stage 1 is the karmic monad. All right, it says 7D Arcturian influence, inner Christ crucifixion memories, monadic extension, ascended masters, ET histories, monad. Like I really don't want to keep reading all of these out just because I'm like, you guys can go and look at this. But then the second stage is just called reversal monad. So it's like healing up the reversal distortion energies I feel like inside of you. And then the third stage is the monadic twin. Okay. And so once you worked on these things, and you may not even be aware that that's what you're doing, that these are all the things that you're integrating and you're healing from. But the Lisa Renee, she is channeling information from somewhere, and I highly resonate with it. And so if you highly resonate with it as well, definitely dive in there, because she has a lot of links that you can click on and really discover the terms for all the words that she uses here. Okay, and so lastly, we got the level 3 triad, the hero's gamos. So this is the true sacred marriage of no time, where it says the sacred marriage is the hero's gamos, the hydroplasmic liquid light of the risen and embodied Christos Sophionic principle. Level 3 triad, hero's gamos union, or the risen Christos Sophia. And then here's where it gets very kind of interesting for me, because, at that time, I had 2 dreams. Okay. I had quite a few dreams, but the main dream that I had was that I was pregnant, and that I was fully pregnant, and that I needed to push this baby out of me. Okay. But I didn't have contractions to push. And it what happened to take place in the same exact spot of where I had a dream about the person that activated me, and where basically I feel like that was where that union happened in order to create this child, right? Which was actually, they refer to it as an egg, a solar egg, a Buddhic egg, and a cosmic egg. And now the cosmic egg, that stage 1 is solar egg, stage 2 is the Buddhic egg, stage 3 is the cosmic egg. Which, isn't it interesting that I was talking about last week about my moth woman dream, where I had laid 3 eggs and I was using the flame from my dragon, which I call Aurora. I called out to her by name, and she was named Aurora, and she was helping me to birth these 3 eggs. So anyway, at the time of on the day of my sacred marriage ceremony, high heart activation, I had actually felt that contraction that I talked about in the dream. I said, I can't push this baby out because I don't have a contraction. And so they left me in the dark, which is exactly what you're supposed to do. For a laboring woman who is struggling to get the contractions going. And so that morning, as I was listening to the woman who was in my dream as my midwife, she was giving a speech. She was giving a presentation at this conference that I was at. And as I was listening to her, I felt that egg, that baby come out of me. I literally felt it as if I had given birth to a child, because I know what it feels like when a baby comes out. If I didn't know what that felt like, I might not have really known that was what had happened just there and then, because I felt the ring of fire energetically that happens when you push a baby's head out. Okay. And so the stage 3, the cosmic egg, the Christos embodied monad twin or genetic equal, synthesizes the solar and lunar light, which when integrated embodies the cosmic Christos avatar of liquid aurora light. Together, the androgynous pair share one merged double diamond sun body and one hero Gamos crown. I was just like, so they tell me I'm a diamond Melchizedek, and now we're talking about the last stage of the true sacred marriage ceremony is being merged with a double diamond sun body. And that's exactly what I saw drop through my ceiling when this person was summoned and we were trying to send them healing energy, like that. I mean, this is how God guided me. You know, he guided me back to this. He always gives me the answers that I need when I need them, I feel like. And he helps me understand these principles and these concepts, because I had wondered for some time, how do I explain to people what a solar feminine Melchizedek is? Now I feel like I know it's inside of me what that actually means. You know, almost like when I share with you guys, like when they give me certain words, I kind of know the meaning, but I kind of don't. So I have to go and I have to really contemplate the word. Or I have to go and look up the definition and like juxtapose. You know, I said that at one point, you know, and I didn't really know what that meant. When I looked, it's like side by side for comparison and contrast. Okay. Oh, but this is this last little part. I'm going to read this last part and then we're going on to the tarot reading, guys. Thank you all for hanging out with me this long. Really appreciate you letting me go through all this, because this is just, it's part of what I want to share with people. It's part of what gets my heart so excited. I just sit there and I have to share it. And that's how I know that's how I use my heart as a compass. What gets me the most excited to share? You know, the frequency of truth that runs through me. What does it want to tell people? It wants to tell people this. Okay, so they went through the last part that I'll read, which is another little tab section, and it says genetic equal. It says Guardian Host defines the usage of the term genetic equal as the original spiritual male to female gender pair that share one unified hierogamic consciousness body from outside of the time matrix, sourcing from the Christ Crystal God worlds. So basically they're saying that you have to have the person that was created, the divine half of you that was created in the same God world. Okay, the genetic equal partner holds the same original crystal gene gender coding of the diamond sun silicate matrix in the Crystal Sophia family line. Genetic equals were birthed into one of the crystal star lineages from the God worlds and shared the same realm as their source of origin when they were simultaneously created for each other in gender pairs. The crystal's mission included the reclamation of gender pairs that had been separated as a result of damage to the genetic codes in the time matrix caused from the negative alien agenda invasion. And usually one of the genders has a mission to repair their personal DNA imprint on the earth in so to be reunited with their genetic equal again during the ascension cycle. We have learned that many solar dragon lines from the God world, such as the Centaurians, were originally created in gender pairs in which their unified male-female gender principle acts as the timekeeper functions in the cosmic clock of the eons. Tell me that don't sound like a Time Lord. Tell me that don't come across as that. You know? And so this is what happens when I ask God to give me more information and explain it to me. You know, we got Aurora in there, we got diamond sun bodies in there, we got like everything, the blue lotus heart. Like all of this stuff happened to me without me having that information. And then I come across it. And that's how big the synchronicities can get if you're willing to surrender to your higher self and have them guide you. And trust and believe and have faith that is what you're here for. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how else to put it with words, because the thing that I'm talking about is a feeling that is deeper than words. It's concepts. You know what I'm saying? It's true experience. It's frequency inside yourself. So yes, I was reunited with God. I was reconnected with God. And I was lucky enough to have that happen for me because I asked for the right things. So this is the steps that I'm asking you guys to take. Surrender to your higher self. Ask God and tell God that you want to remember who you are and your true mission here. Ask for your genetic coding and your divine masculine or divine feminine template to be restored to what it's meant to be, so that you can have your true connection to God. Okay, start imagining your wings. Okay, ask God to take you through the steps of the sacred marriage so that you may become one with God again and be reunited with your pair from the God worlds. Okay, once you ask these things, like, they should start lining up. And I'm not even saying that everyone is a solar feminine or solar masculine Melchizedek. I'm sure there's some other things out there that are even in the Ascension Glossary. I just know for me, this is the path that God led me down, that my Nubian black heart was broken and the pieces were moved and cleaned up, and I rebuilt myself. So that way I could bring this frequency, this original templating for the earth, back to her, because she's been so fucked with the negative alien agenda. So yeah, I think I went over all the stuff that I wanted to go over. So God is still answering my prayers. I'm still on a path. I'm still on a journey. We got to clear out space. We have to stop feeling bad about things. And the only way to stop feeling bad about things isn't to just simply let it be like, oh, well, no, I'm just not going to feel bad about that thing anymore. Like, talk about it. Share it with someone that you can trust. Someone who loves you for you and to take that burden off your shoulders, because that's holding us back. That's holding us back from experiencing the true love and light of God, which that is the best love. God's love is the best love. And so I'm kind of going to go ahead and start looking at the chat again, because I survived another one. Woo! I survived another one. Oh. Hey, I keep doing it. Oh, thank you, God, for letting me. That was a rough one. Oh my God, guys. Okay. Yes. Wow. Well. It is lovely to see some new people up in here. So I'll just go ahead and I'll start from the top where I see some new people. Julian, Rachel, nice to see you. Anchor Haven, wonderful to have you here. Yes, Matthew Mordian and Honora Mordian, lovely. So happy you guys could make it. Patrick, hi. Mm-hmm. And Victor, I don't know if I said hi to you yet, Victor, but I just want to say thank you again. He's been helping. The website is almost done, guys. I just want to tell you this. We are so close. We wrote the stuff we needed to write. And now there's just a slight little bit of tweaking at the end of one part of what I wanted to write. And the website is going to include a part of it where I'm able to pull cards for the month, like a collective monthly reading. And I'll be able to put the cards on the page, and you can go and you'll be able to have like an update of the energetic readings that my cards will give us. Okay. And it will be able to have you sign up for personal readings if you want, which I'm really looking forward to doing more of that. Okay. So look forward to that. Until then, if you are interested in a reading from me at all, oh God, what's going on there with my hair flyaways? You can try emailing me at auroradiamondheart@gmail.com, or you can go to Facebook and find me on Facebook, and just honestly, don't message me right at first. Just write in the comments, I messaged you. I'm reaching out to you because I want a reading. Or you don't even have to be, if you're not wanting people to know that, you can just be like, I DM'd you, and I usually get around to checking all my comments, because I just get way overwhelmed in the messages. And I've said that many times, but I'm definitely willing. I'm definitely out there to be doing readings for people. And I've even thought about maybe doing like some short little Facebook lives some days that I'm off, and just offering up my readings for like a discounted price. Look at my smaller readings. And if you have any donations that you want to send me, since I know that that's kind of a thing now, thank you, Victor. Thank you. Can you put the link for the PayPal in there? Although you can just search Aurora Diamond Heart in PayPal and you'll find me there too. Okay. Ah, yes. Flapping my wings here now. Got them out. Woo! Oh, yeah. Stretch. Oh, I hear all this popping. That's good. Oh, yeah. Let's go ahead, though. I know I took a long time already. I didn't know it was going to take me that long, but it's not unlike me. Hit the thumbs up, please, if you haven't already. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. You know, you got to, having a YouTube channel comes with certain things you just are required to say by law, I think. So we're going to say that stuff. I mean, you know I'm playing, but anyway. Let's pull the fortune cookie. What message does the collective need to hear for the fortune cookie? This one. It's this one. Okay, how many we got left? We still got quite a few left. All right, thank you, God, for allowing me to survive another stream. You don't know, every time I do a stream, even though I've been doing them this long, I'm still scared. Every time I still get so nervous, you know, and then I get out here and I start going, and usually it feels pretty good. You know, I feel like I accomplished something, and being able to share myself is, I mean, how could that was one of my original points as to why I wanted to share myself so deeply here with people, was because I realized that without knowing your own self first, then how can you share yourself with another person to the point where they have an opportunity to really love the real you if you can't share that with them? So you really need to know who you really are in order to be loved for who you really are. And that's what I wanted. I wanted an opportunity to also be loved. You know, I have a lot of love inside me to share with people, but, you know, I would like to be able to receive too, you know, so it's kind of like that. Like, let me see you and I'll give you love too. You know, show me your real self. That's what I want. I want to see people's real selves, because we're all deeply, you know, we're all a part of God. We all have that spark. So I like to roll this in my hands because I feel like if spirit, if it's possible for them to switch the message at all, that's what they're doing. Like right now, they're like in another dimension. They're writing real quick what it is that we need. That's what I imagine. Okay, so what does the collective need to hear, God? Okay. Yeah. Wow. Follow the guidance of your inner guru. What an interesting fortune. This is why I love these fortune cookies, because they never have the same fortune twice. You know? Yeah. That's so funny. Follow the guidance of your inner guru. Okay. Will do. Yeah. Yeah, listen to your soul, like Patrick is saying over here. So lovely that you guys can make it, especially considering I know how late it is for Geraldine and for Anchor Haven out there on the other side of the world. And even for, is it like midday for you, Patrick? I know he's over in Australia. He's from a land down under. Doodaloo, doodaloo, doodaloo. Okay. Oh, that's right. You know what? I've heard that before, Jason. Hold on. That is usually why I take a bite of it. And because I know in order for it to be true, you gotta eat part of it. You ever seen the Rick and Morty episode with the fortune cookies? I couldn't believe they made an episode like that. You know, when I'm so big into fortune cookies. Hilarious episode. Rick and Morty is top notch entertainment. Except for I think maybe the 5th and 6th season, they kind of they slumped a little bit. You know? It's 12:44 in like the afternoon or like at night. You know? Yeah. Yeah. It is hard to eat those fortune cookies with the teeth there. Like Suboxone soft teeth, you know. Okay. So we're gonna first do. Oh, Christina, you showed up. Hi. Is that my Scorpio stalker? You are a Scorpio, right? I thought I was gonna put that, and you wrote in the comments that you were gonna stalk me, and I was like, that's so Scorpio. That's such a Scorpio thing to do. Yes, I welcome it though. It's okay. I was hoping you would show up. I'm really hoping that we can see each other again one day. You know, like I really loved hanging out with you, Christina. You have a real good energy. You're a badass bitch. That's what I would call it. Badass bitch. For sure. In a good way. In the most positive way. Okay. So let's do a reading for the collective. And then I know there was someone that already had asked for a reading already. I think that might have been Thesis. But I'm going to count on Victor to keep me in line with that. Because he's such an amazing helper. And truly appreciate you. Woo! Got a motorcycle. Hope that did that show up? Did you guys hear that? Mm-hmm. Yes, I would love to come to the mountains. I would absolutely. You give me the opportunity. Just tell me when. We'll make plans. I'll come to Appalachian Mountains, right? That's where you live by, right? I would love to do some exploring in that area. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, you heard it? Oh, shit. Divine Connection. Susan showed up too. Oh, hi, Susan. I love you guys. Oh, you did hear that. Geraldine said she heard it too. Yeah, people are real annoying over here with that shit. You know? Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, in the name of the one infinite creator of love and light, I do humbly request that you please assist me during this collective reading. Bring us the message that we most need to hear, and that it makes sense for everyone in their own individual way. Mm-hmm. Yes. All right. You know I have to shuffle the energy a lot. I don't feel so bad though, because like Matthew and Joanna shuffle a lot too. So it makes me feel like, okay, at least I'm not the only one who knows that you have to really put the energy into the cards. And then I work on, like I said, I drop everything that is me. And I just ask that spirit work through me. Yeah, it's ready. And it's flowing smoothly, so that's a good sign considering it's a Mercury retrograde. Cards have been really crazy lately with getting sticky for me. Only when I'm pulling for myself, though. I'm like, wow, what the fuck? You know? Like, okay, yep, last part. Okay. Okay, so what does God want to tell us? 1, 2, and 3. Wow, so the first card we got is the Queen of Cups. I really like this girl because she's very deeply emotional and she has a very deep well that she can draw from when it comes to sharing emotionally her love, her joy, her compassion. Although that doesn't need to be the only that isn't always the only thing in the cup, obviously. But in this case, she seems to be the highest version of herself. You know, she's got that rose, which if you remember me talking about the manifestation ritual that I did with my girlfriends on the full moon, that the candle for love turned into the shape of a rose. And so I just think that's so interesting that the Queen of Cups here, she's got that rose shape. She's got that rose down there, which I feel like means like an open and activated heart. The pink, to me, has always been taught to be spiritual love. So she's very much open to spiritual love. Okay, she's been crowned, you know, and the crown is showing that she has her third eye open, and it's activated. So she's like got this electricity, like lightning bolts coming off of her. You know, it's almost like the sun shining off of her. You know, her aura, the energy around her is electric, so to speak. Okay, but and she's got this little like the white here, I feel like that's like innocence, right? And purity. Okay. But the thing with her is, you see, she's got this collar on her. Okay. And it's black and it's red. And so I feel like sometimes she can kind of hold herself back and maybe not be so open and using her throat chakra completely. I mean, it's asking her to. It's asking her to be open when it comes to sharing, taking action, because red is like action. Okay. So it's like she needs to draw from that cup and bring it up and forward to share with people. Because that's the thing about the Queen of Cups, is that even though she may have these deep emotions and have all these feelings that she's feeling, if she isn't willing to open up and share that with people, then people will never know. People might never ever know how she's really feeling. Which again, what is the point of doing all this? And it's so that you can know that you are loved for who you really are. Like, that is a great gift, when you are loved and accepted for who you really are. And so that's what this Queen of Cups energy, I feel like, is bringing forward, is it's asking you to also look in that cup and see what's in there and see what needs to come out of it. See what people need to know about it. You know, who helped add to that cup of yours? You want to honor that by using your voice and trusting yourself, because you have real visions. You know, that amethyst. I would even go so far as to suggest that if you have any amethyst crystals, you could always use. I feel like I see someone just like they're putting the amethyst crystal right here to help you open up with it. I know, and they're telling me, yeah, it's also good for helping to release and let go of addictions, like cigarettes and stuff. So amethyst is a really good stone for that, and I might myself be pulling out some amethyst here to help me, because I'm making those steps forward when it comes to certain things. But when with cigarettes is like, I just love them. I love them so much. Oh, but I know they're so bad. I just need to learn to let go. So I'm going to grab my amethyst. So let's get on to the next card, though. So we got the Queen of Cups energy coming through for people. 1, 2, and 3. What's the next part of the message? Wow. Considering we're talking about genetic equals and all that stuff, we pulled out the King of Cups. Okay, you see, isn't that funny? He's got like the same type of stone, but it's on his heart. It's on his heart space right there. Is that more of a purple? Yes, it is a purple. So for the men out there, if you have amethyst, the place you're going to want to possibly use that is your heart, because it's going to open that up. I'm even hearing like the thymus chakra. Okay, maybe in cleansing and clearing that space off a little bit. Okay, because this guy, he always looks like he's a little bit sad. He actually looks like he's got kind of like a little teardrop coming out of his eye. So it's like he's an emotionally moved man. You know, he knows how to feel deeply. Again, though, just like the Queen, he doesn't always know how to share that. You know, because you see he's got a sword next to him, but it's put away. It's tilted down. So that might be where he struggles with. He's got a lot on his mind. Okay, with that weird looking cap with all the eyes. It's like looking everywhere. It's like almost like, I get a feeling it's like antenna almost. You know, like when you wear one of those like sciencey type hats where you put it on and it measures all the electricity. So he's got like, oh wow, so it's coming through the same. Remember, she has like electricity coming off of her like that, and it's shooting downward. Okay, it's like orange is the sacral chakra, red is the root chakra or action. Okay, so with this guy, he also has a lot going on, but he would be the receiver. So it's like she's sending out those electrical signals, and he's a receiver. He's picking those up. He may have a hard time though expressing himself in the same ways. You know, they're similar in that nature, so to speak. Like he may have an easier time talking and forming like a whole connection to the animal world as opposed to humans. You know, so that's one thing that he has to work on. He has to work on learning how to share himself emotionally in an appropriate way, is what I'm hearing. Okay. I really like that for us so far. So considering the topic of the day, it's like This is all emotions is what guided me this far. So perhaps like that is where it's giving you guidance, and it's telling you to really do those journeys of the heart in order to figure out how to align yourself with those people, because that is part of the purpose of restoring our codes in order to help the entire collective, the entire human consciousness. Because we're one being ultimately. We're all sharing the spark of God. Okay. So let's see what the last part of the message is. 1, 2. This last part of the message. 1, 2, and 3. Wow. We're full of court cards today. So this is what's going on here. Now we got the Queen of Swords. Okay, so it's almost like, okay. It's funny because look at her crown, how it's different. It doesn't have that third eye part going on there. So it's like perhaps the Queen of Cups, she has, you know, if she's not talking so much, that's where she's going, and she's closing her eyes. She's looking with her third eye, her mind's eye, in order to see things, in order to make sense of the world around her. Well, the Queen of Swords, she's very much more guarded. She's like prepared. You know, if she has to battle, she will, but she is flexible. As you can see, she's flexible with her words. She's able to bend words at her will, so to speak. And now she's got a whole tribe of people with her. Look at that. Look at all of those flowers, all those roses. And you know, for me, I know I came here with a group of people. When in my most important dream, they showed me that. Okay, so the thing that you want to worry about, or not worry about, you want to look out for with the Queen of Swords is just becoming a little bit too protective of herself, becoming a little bit too guarded, a little too closed down. You know, because she's the queen, she's meant to share. I mean, that's what swords are. They're like words speaking, the inflection in your voice, the examples you choose to use, the stories that you choose to share. Okay, so these are the major energies that come through. It's like we're upgrading. I mean, 2 queens and a king. 2 queens and a king. Like that just says upgrades to me. It's like, because it's not pages, it's not knights, it's kings and queens. So I feel like that's what it's really saying. We are kings and queens. And once we figure out how to have this divine union of our divine and our divine masculine and our divine feminine halves, I mean, this is literally like what this makes perfect sense for me. I don't know how you guys are going to take this, but I give my own interpretation for myself as an example so that you can use that for yours. You know, it's like, okay, so it's like now I have that union, all right, with the emotions and the emotions that come along with it. Okay, and then I'm going to come out here and I'm going to share it, and I'm going to share it with all the people, all the enlightened people that are here to help. They're here to help support her, because that's what this bottom part of the sword is. It's the support system. So thank you guys. Thank you guys for being part of my support system. But let's go ahead and pull some cards for the other people. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Hold on. I'm reading some of this. Oh, I see you have an amethyst crystal sphere. That's pretty cool, Victor. You should send me a picture of it sometime. I'd like to see that. Roses are red. Aurora is blue. Nice. That's so funny. Oh, that's such a cute dream. Of course, you would have a dream like that, Victor. That is a very, you know, I feel like you're reaching back into a past life. You know what I'm saying? There definitely is past lives where every one of us, I truly believe, has been a king or a queen and had our entire lives be handled for us. You know what I'm saying? But you know, when you go back and you dip into those types of timelines, you'll see that there's good and bad to it. You know what I'm saying? There's good and there's bad to it. And hi there, Cryptis Huntress. Cryptid Huntress. Nice to see you. Oh. Yes. Okay, so here's the list of people requesting a reading. I was waiting for that to pop up for me. All right, we got Thesis, Geraldine, Joanna, Selena, and Maureen. Okay. All right, I got it. I think we can do all those. If you guys don't know about Cryptid Huntress, definitely go check her out. Go check her channel out because she is super cool. Oh, is that Sea Beach back here? Okay. Honestly, Sea Beach, it sounds to me like one of your station tubes or something is clogged up. That's what it's feeling like to me. I get that way sometimes too, especially when the weather is changing and shifting like this. You know how you can tell if that's the case? If you bend over and you put your head lower than the rest of you, it'll usually give way for a minute because the fluid will move and it will free your ear for a moment. And that usually is it. If you need to dry it out, you can honestly, licorice root is a good herb to dry mucus up. So I'm just going to give that message to you. Yeah, happy Friday. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So here we go, guys. All right. So the first one, in fact, might just have to. All right. So Thesis, I hope you're still there. Because if not, I'll give you a reading anyway still. But, oh, yeah, also the Schumann. Yeah, Patrick's got some good advice. Sea Beach, listen to him too. He's got some good advice. Yeah, I watched some video today that said that the solar activity might be a result of the 3-eye atlas. That apparently it's releasing water or something. You know, water holds memory. So it could be technically sharing some of that stuff with us energetically. Fire and water. Okay. It was a cool video. So I'm waiting for Thesis to pop up. If he's still here in the chat. Oh, wait, I see him up there. So yes. Okay. Yes, Thesis, we're ready for you. Okay. Okay, I'm requesting to do a reading. I'm asking my guides to please step forward and assist me here. Yes, here we go. Okay. Yeah. There he is. I see his face. Okay. Thesis. All right. They're ready. Cards are ready. All right, put Thesis. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so the first card we got for you, Thesis, is the 6 of Swords, which is funny because this is what I was talking about earlier at the beginning of my stream. This is very much a 6 of Swords type of even collective energy, I would say. But for me specifically, it's like really trusting that the next step is going to be, it's almost like having to take a step without seeing it first. You know what I'm saying? Like there's some ways that you have to go where you just have to trust that you are in alignment with your divine purpose and your divine mission and know that God is handling it. You need to be passive. See, because he's got that deer on top of his head and even that pheasant at the beginning of the ship. And those are very passive animals. You know, so you have to kind of let God take control and know that you are in good hands. As long as like you are mentally in alignment here with you're ready to go on the next step of your journey. Okay. Let's go ahead and pull the next card though. We're just going to give us a clearer message. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So as you're doing this, in order to figure out, or in the meantime, as you're on this boat, waiting to hit that shore, they're asking you to really look inside your heart. I feel like you got this card last time. Am I wrong? You can let me know, Thesis. Yes, we're in a hermit stage. I've been actually pulling this card a lot for myself too, where it's like there's this time where you just really have to put your own thoughts aside. You really need to do some meditating, and you need to take the light of your consciousness and you need to learn to direct it. You need to learn to direct it in a certain way. You need to use that consciousness to find out what's going on inside you for real. Like, what is it that you really want? You know, because God will take you there for sure. You know, have faith. God will take you there. But perhaps it could even be like that as you go to step, that next step only starts to appear when you know where it is that you want to be going. You know, so you're going to need to do a little bit of an inner heart journey to figure out where exactly that might be. Maybe they'll give us a little clue in this last card for you here, Thesis. 1, 2, and 3. What's the last part of the message? Okay. The 7 of Swords. I see a lot of swords over these, all over these cards here, because it looks like even the Hermit has a lot of swords, but they're behind him and they're arranged all in a certain way. It's almost like, it's like you have all of these different ideals and all these different thoughts, and they're not touching in this particular card, right? But when you do your inner journey into your heart to see what's really going on, okay, they all kind of make this pattern and this enmeshment, and they all kind of fit together. So that's what it's going to show you when you do that inner heart's journey. Okay. And then it's going to be up to you to decide what it is that you want to take with you and what it is that you want to leave behind. Like, what is it do you want to share with people? Okay. Like, it's about strategy. Like there might be some things that you just no longer relate to anymore, thought wise. And so you're going to leave those things behind. That's what this journey is going to show you, and have faith that it's going to lead you where you're meant to be. Okay, because it will. Because that's what the 6 of Swords is, one of the best cards you can get for that. You know, if we're wondering about, you know, am I on the right path? You are on the right path. Okay, it's just a matter of where do you want to go. Yeah, have faith. I hope that helps, Thesis. I hope that helps. Thanks for being here with me. Yes, fear nothing. Exactly. Well, and that's the thing too. Whatever it is that that's one of the ways that it can show you your inner belief system. All right, is that when you take that step, if you haven't done your heart's journey and know exactly what it is that you intentionally want, well, then God's just going to place the step that your autopilot, your subconscious belief system is going to create the next step for you, and it'll show you what you believe and what you're asking for, because that's always there. It's always happening. You know, if that makes sense. So the next person was, I'm just going to scroll back up and look. I'm going to try and go a little bit faster through some of these, just because since I pull so many cards, since I pull 3 cards, sometimes I talk a little bit too much on one or the other. So we're going to try and read it like a quick little sentence for you guys. That way I'm not here too long, because it's already been 2 hours. It's already been 2 hours. Oh my God. It's all right. We're doing good. Okay. So, Geraldine, you're up. Geraldine, Joanna, Selena, and Maureen. Okay. Geraldine. Oh, there, I see you, beautiful. Okay, yes. Oh, wow, I even can almost hear your voice come through a little bit. That's so funny. Okay, we are open. Yes, well, you have so much love coming through you. Yeah, you do. You're definitely a Queen of Swords, for sure. You know how to use your words. Like, you could write a book, for sure. I can feel like it. Like, you would be able to get that done quick. So for Geraldine, what would her higher self like to tell her? What is the message? One more. They're telling me one more shuffle and we're good. Yeah, and it's shuffling real smooth, so that's a good sign. So for Geraldine, what is the message her higher self would like to bring her? 1, 2, and 3. All right, so the first card we got here is a Page of Swords, which is kind of interesting considering, like, I'm like, no, you already know how to use your words really good. Okay, so could this be someone outside of you? Because you don't feel like you are like inexperienced when it comes to using your swords, and the Page of Swords is, but maybe it's something new that you're learning to communicate. Maybe there's some new subject that you're learning how to talk about. The Page of Swords, he's someone who gets really excited about being able to share things with people too. How do I put this? It's like he can get really excited about wanting to share things with people. Okay. But the thing is, if he doesn't take the time and really slow down and like boil down what it is that he really wants to say, he could take a few heads off with them, right? He could accidentally say something that, I don't want to say offends people, but they could take it the wrong way, and so just feeling into it. Okay. Like, keep practicing, keep trying whatever it is this new way that you're trying to share yourself with, verbally or whatever, or even someone who's around you who might not be as experienced a communicator as you. Like, have some patience with them, have some grace and patience with yourself, and learning how to do this in a new way. It'd be like someone who's like deciding to come and start writing things on Facebook or whatever and making posts and where they really want to share themselves, but it's like the first time you've been doing something like that. And so you might know how not exactly articulate it completely the way that you want to, but with practice, it gets better. It gets better. You know what I'm saying? So keep pushing forward when it comes to this way of communicating, this new way, this new thing that you're communicating about, or that someone around you is communicating to you about. Okay, what's the next card? Let's give us a clearer message. 1, 2, and 3. If all we're doing is court cards tonight, I'm going to have some words for my guys when we're done here. All right, he's graduated. So maybe this is saying that progression here. So we got the Page of Swords first. Now we got the Knight of Swords. Okay, so this guy, he is better able to communicate with people. He's still a little bit, has this gusto to him. You know what I'm saying? He's like, he wants to come in and like save the world, so to speak, but he needs to slow down. He needs to take a step back and really be clear about what it is that he's trying to communicate with people. I'm like, is this 2 people or is this like a graduation? It's like, before you used to be like this and now you're starting to be like this, where it's like he's still on his journey to fully learn how to communicate in a way that allows him to be understood completely and to be seen. Okay, but let's go ahead and pull the last card just so I can see what the mix is like. For Geraldine, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so this is definitely a collective energy going on here, because I guess they're asking you to put those words aside actually for a little bit. Again, like, once you do this inner journey of what it is in your heart that you really want to be sharing with people, okay, it'll all start to make this pattern. It'll all start to weave itself together. But you have to stop and do this inner journey first. You have to really think about what it is that you want to be sharing and what it is you don't want to be sharing. And maybe it's saying, like, again, like the whole boiling it down thing. I feel like it's like, take it and make it less somehow, because perhaps, like, even like with the Page of Swords, maybe they're sharing too much. And so therefore it's like overwhelming people. Right. But then he's got onto the next stage where now he's the Knight of Swords. So he's getting better at that. And it's still really, again, it's with the purpose to be helpful to people. Okay. But how do we communicate what it is that we want to say to people and to be helpful to people in a way that is as clear and concise as possible? It doesn't cut, it can't be mistaken or misconstrued in a way that you don't mean it to. The only way you're going to be able to do that is to take that inner journey into the heart with the hermit, isolation, meditation, all that type of good stuff. You know, I don't know. I just get this feeling that maybe there's someone that you want to talk about something to, and perhaps I just feel like it's like slow it down, and really think about, because especially if it's something to do with conflict or anything like that, like some communications you need to have, like within the family or something like that. It's like, I hate to say that. I almost want to say, like, they don't even deserve your words at this point. Like, they don't even deserve that. But you've been so willing because you want to be understood so bad to like give so much of yourself to them. And so now it's time to really decide, like, do that hermit journey and decide, okay, what do they need to hear, as opposed to what do I want to tell them in order to, because that's the one of the lessons I've been learning. It's like, that's where I feel like when you feel bad underneath there somehow, and you don't even realize it, like there's some part of you that feels bad about something. And so it's like you want to be believed. And so therefore you want to over explain and stuff like that. It's like that time, the time for that is done. You know, like, only give them what they need to know is what I'm hearing. Only give them what they need to know. Right? Because not everyone is going to want or going to deserve to know you in such great detail. You know, expend your energy on the people who are spending it on you too. Okay, the people who think about you, the people who pray for you, like me. I love you. So anyway, I don't know. So that's where my heart was guided to go with this, is that I feel like it has something to do with possible family or someone outside of yourself that you're dealing with, that maybe possible difficult situation. And they're just asking you to really think about what you want to say before you say it. And that going into that meditative state is going to help guide you to that. But you are getting better at it, because it went from page to night. Okay. But if it is two different people, the last thing I want to say real quick, if it is two different people, I did notice that the page and the night, they were looking in different directions. So it's like the page wants to move forward. All right. But that night, he's still looking behind him. You know, so I don't know if that will help you at all. I'm just trusting spirit here. And I hope that guides you in some way, Geraldine. I love you. Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. Joanna, Selena, and Maureen. Okay, cool. Okay, I didn't even see any of your messages, so all right, now I'm kind of seeing it. Thank you so much. I really hope that works out for you then. Yeah. Okay. Wow, Patrick is saying some stuff I am missing, but I'll have to check that out later. Mm-hmm. Okay. So next we're doing Joanna. Mm-hmm. It's okay. You can bomb my chat. You're more than welcome to bomb my chat, Patrick. I'd rather have people be talking in the chat than have it be silent. The only time it's good when it's not moving, I feel like, is when like I'm really getting into stories and stuff like that. And because I know from watching live streams myself that the only time I ever really get real silent is like when I'm really into listening to what they're saying. You know? Other times I just like to play in the chat though. So all right. So for Joanna LeBlanc, tuning into your beautiful energy. Oh, that's exciting. Yes. I don't know why. I just feel like it's like they're asking me to look into card-wise, like how our manifestation is coming along. This is just the feeling I'm getting from it. So let's go ahead and see. What does Joanna herself want to tell us? One more shuffle for you, lady. What does Joanna herself want to tell us? Okay, it's ready. For Joanna. You did great the other day, by the way, Joanna. You did really great. If, Joanna was on Typical Skeptic podcast with Rob Khalil. Okay. If you want to check her out, definitely go check out that latest episode that he did with her, because she is fire. And if you haven't ever had the type of energetic healing that she does, I highly recommend it, because she nailed it. She nailed it. It was so good. And and she did some work on my son. I couldn't believe it. Like, it was so good. And I had not loaded her with any information about it ahead of time. And she absolutely floored me. So she's got a real talent. Highly recommend you guys go check her out. She's on Typical Skeptic. I think it was Wednesday night. Yes. All right. So yeah, for Joanna. All right. Yeah. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So at the moment you are 3 of rods, which I actually don't mind the 3 of rods, but this is time sensitive. So you have to really pay attention, because there's an opportunity coming. And that opportunity is going to be for you to make the next move, so to speak. Like, I always see like 3 boats coming down the river. You know what I'm saying? You're like standing up on this hill, and it's like they haven't quite reached the shore yet. So it's not exactly quite here yet, but it's coming, and you can see it coming. And, if you don't run down to that shore at the right time, then you're going to miss those boats. They're going to go on without you. So you're waiting to know when that time to take action is. Perhaps you don't even know what action it is that you're going to be taking, but that moment is coming. There is a moment when that action is going to be made known to you. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So we got the Devil card. We don't want no devils in this house. We want the Lord. Sorry, you know the song. Anyway. So we got the Devil. So this is something that you've changed yourself to, so to speak. It is something that none of us can get out of it. We all have physical bodies. The things that come along with physical bodies are, addictions, just even cleaning it, feeding it. It can even be, I heard one tarot reader talk about it being like sensual pleasures and things like that. It doesn't always have to be super negative or bad. Okay. But in this case, it is a position that you have put yourself in. Okay, but I want to pull the next card to see, like, look how weird my Devil card is compared to your guys's. Like, I know your guys's has like 2 people and they're chained to this treasure chest. And it kind of reminds me of the whole... Why is my cameraman going all crazy? I'm not even moving it really. But your card is completely different than what mine is. And so let's go ahead and take a look at it. It's mainly just focusing on I kind of know about what's going on with you a little bit, so I'm trying not to get too into that. But look at that full moon at the top of there. Okay, so this opportunity that you're waiting for to come along is probably the change that you're asking to see and to be made as far as physical vices go. Okay. Will that be made? Will those changes be made? Let's find out. Let's find out the last part of the message. 1, 2, and 3. And we want the truth is all. Oh no, he is working hard. It's actually, yeah. Look at that. You got the 3 of rods and you got the 3 of pentacles. So 2 3s. Okay, you're at the beginning of it, but there is some real effort being put. You're really building something real. All right. This guy's building a cathedral. It's a place of worship. So it's like he's changing his physical vessel around. He's putting the work into the physical vessel. So that way his spirit can reside there. Because what is a temple? This is our temple. This is where God resides inside of us. Okay, but in order for God to do that, we have to clear out the things that are not necessary, that we don't need, that are taking up space here unnecessarily, energetically. Okay, and so now you're just waiting to see what happens in regards to that, and wondering, like, is the work really happening? Is it really changing? And I get the feeling it is. Look, on the bottom of the deck, we got this guy, the King of Rods. So I do think it is about that, or the Knight of Rods. I'm sorry. So I do think it is about your significant other, quite frankly, and the fact that he is on that journey to try and be that better version of himself. You know, so that's a really good sign. It's working. Hope that helps you, Joanna. I know, right? Why was that devil here? It's only because, yeah, because that's the things he's got to work on and change. He's got to get control of that. You know, we all do in our own way. But I've been feeling it for a while. I don't know. Instinctually, I've been feeling that real change is happening and coming. And I don't usually feel very positive about stuff when it comes to things like that. But you know, I told you this. I really get a good feeling about it. So maintain that hope. Again, your inner belief system. You deserve that thing. You deserve that true love relationship. Because we can't affect it with our subconscious beliefs. You know, like, just remember that. Keep telling yourself you deserve that. And, you know, even ask for your daughter's sake. You know, appeal to his higher self in regards to the child that you carried and you have together. Because she's very important. So now we're going to do Selena, and then I know you probably can tell I'm getting like a little bit lower in energy now, but I still feel good enough to pull cards. So we're gonna pull one. I have my eyes closed a lot because I'm trying to focus on this stuff. But we're gonna do Selena, and then I can remember the last person. I know I'm gonna be able to remember the last person. I know there was one more person. Maureen, of course. How could I forget the Moth Woman? Maureen, which that was also what I wanted to tell you, Maureen, if you're still here listening. I saw your video. I commented on it on Facebook that you did, sharing with Gus. I thought that was so great. I loved it so much. So yeah, definitely. Yeah, I see you're here. Definitely keep that up. I wish that they would put more of my friends on my timeline feed regularly. But they've been putting you on my feed lately, so Facebook has changed itself up a little bit. So now where you go to your reactions, you go to the post that someone reacted to, it shows actual people who responded to the post. It'll show more, like 3 or 4 different posts of different people that I'm actually interested in seeing their posts. So it's making it so much easier. I was so happy about that I got to see that video. I was like, oh, Gus and Maureen. It makes me so happy. But now we're switching over to Selena. For the beautiful Selena. Oh, with the heart of gold. Yes. Oh, you're like a little sister. The little sister I never had. Oh, wow. Yeah, I get that energy from you. Oh my gosh, I'm seeing a bunch of different little images now. Like a Christmas time image. Of like 2 little girls just being in pajamas and underneath, like waiting at that tree, like waiting for Santa to come. I don't know why that's coming up, but it's really cute picture. Okay, for Selena. All right, I'm done shuffling now. Okay, sorry, I had to chat a lot first. I might be getting slap happy at this point. Okay, for Selena. What would her higher self like to tell her? 1, 2, and 3. Ooh, baby boy. Baby girl, baby he, baby they, baby them. We got the Justice card. Dun dun. Like Law and Order, right? Isn't that funny considering your work? Isn't that funny? So what's done is done. For better or for worse. It is time for a change. Okay, people are getting what they deserve. And so will you. You will get what you deserve. And it's going to be for the better because you put a lot of good out there into the world. And it's about time that you start getting that good back. And yeah, these flowers, these irises, when do irises bloom? They bloom in May. Pretty sure they bloom in May. So keep that in your head for May. Like they're, remember I did say too, it's like 3 to 6 months to really see real change when you're trying to do work on your subconscious. Okay, so keep that in mind, that you've been making the right decisions, you've been swinging that sort of justice, and you've been doing it in, yeah, you've been doing it in the right way. No, they're saying you could swing it heavier even. They're saying you could swing it heavier. You got an activated third eye here going on, but it's got a red gem instead of a purple gem. So I would say like they're probably asking you to use your third eye more when it comes to this stuff. Like you could see more than what you think you can see. Okay, but what I'm really also being fascinated with is it's like these like little sword looking things on the side of the head. It's almost like you're climbing up. You're climbing that ladder of consciousness too. As you swing that sword, as justice is served and those like karmic ties and contracts are done, it's like you're climbing up that ladder. That's what it's looking like to me. But let's see more on the energy of this, what they're trying to tell us. So for Selena, 1, 2, what's the next part of the message? And 3. Oh, wow. Okay, so justice has been served when it comes to this 2 of Cups here. Okay, so I personally love the 2 of Cups card. I mean, look how pretty that is. And that's that was one of the cards that I saw magic happen with, was the 2 of Cups. Okay, so it's like if you're climbing up that ladder of ascension and you're using that 3 to 6 months to rewrite your subconscious, then this is saying like you're going to end up getting what you want, which is a true partnership, a true seeing eye to eye with someone. You know, I mean, look at how he's looking at her. Like they're both looking at each other. It's like, I see you and I want to share my cup with you. They're pushing those cups together. It's like their hearts, their energies, their emotions. It's like, to me, it even looks like he's the one stepping forward here in this particular card. I'm just trying to see if there's anything new that I've never seen in this card before that I could share with you. But no, I mean, they're taking me all over the place, but they're not, nothing is really shouting out except for maybe a little bit of that cloak that he's wearing. That cloak that he's wearing with that little, it looks like it could be a jewel right there, but it's not. So it's like he's not going to not say nothing. It's just what I'm hearing. But let's see the last part of it, because again, like justice has been served. The 2 of Cups is coming for you. What's the last part of the message? 1, 2, and 3. Okay. The King of Cups, which is funny because that's who we pulled for the collective, right? So if you are looking to follow the steps that I was talking about today earlier in my stream, it looks like it is going to happen. It is going to happen for you. And we got this King of Cups character who will be more in touch with his emotions and has like a deep well to pull from, and who isn't afraid to, I feel like he's better on one-on-one types of scenarios here. Like he's not afraid to cry. I mean, I showed you that. He's got like a little tear. He's not afraid to show his emotions. He's going to be telepathically in tune with you. Mm-hmm. He's just going to have a heart that's more open with compassion. He's got that thymus. He's got that thymus chakra right there, and it's purple. And purple represents royalty. So a true royal, or like, well, obviously, like kings and queens don't exist nowadays like that. But what in a way, like he'll carry himself like that. Like he'll have self-respect. When someone has self-respect, they're able to give self-respect. They're able to give respect to that other partner. Either way, it's just like, I mean, I shouldn't have looked at the bottom of the deck, right? So I don't know. If you're wondering, like, did you do the right thing, right? Is there someone else coming for you? It's like, don't worry. You see that Two of Cups behind this Five of Cups? It's still there. The Two of Cups is coming. Like, you may be feeling sad right now for the way, like, it's that uncomfortable change of when you're rewriting that subconscious programming. I just always find that so interesting that that Five of Cups has that Two of Cups behind them, and that's literally the card that we pulled for you here for your second part after the Justice card. So expect a man that's more in touch with his emotions and more capable of sharing them with you. You know, I feel like he won't need coaxing to do it because it's someone who really knows themselves. Okay, and also I feel like that's the thing about the King of Cups too, is that they're really in tune with nature and with animals. Astro, you did make it. Wow, I'm surprised to see you here. That's one of my astrologers right there. My Astro friend. Can you get a card? I will pull a card for you, but it's going to have to be after Maureen. Okay? Selena is amazing. I know, she really is, and she deserves the best. She deserves to give what she gives. Let me just put it that way. She deserves to get what she gives, and she really does give. She's just the sweetest sweetheart. She's the sweetest sweetheart ever. And so therefore it's like people who don't treat her like she's just the sweetest thing ever, it just blows my mind. It blows my mind. Like she overcompensates in a way, because you can tell, I'm sorry, Selena, that I'm talking about you like this, but you're just such a good person. You really see people for who they really are. You really take the time to see the best in them. The only way you could see all that goodness in them is if it was in you first. She's just so comforting and consoling, and she doesn't want anyone to suffer. Like she almost puts herself into a place of suffering herself before taking steps that might cause another person suffering. And that's the type of programming I want to help her rewrite, because she deserves the same amount of consideration that she gives out there. She deserves that. I really love you, girl. Thanks for being here for me. And thanks for being there for me in so many other ways than just on my live streams. Okay. For the beautiful Maureen with her lovely puppy, Gus. What would her higher self like to tell her? Okay, we're bringing it in. Bringing it in. Oh, Maureen. There you are. Okay. Yeah, there we go. For Maureen. So happy to have you here with me tonight, Maureen. I never know. There's always that fear that, like, no one's going to show up, like, especially since I always put it out the last minute, my promo and stuff. So it always is just such a blessing, and it just delights me every time when I get here and I just see people already there in the chat. And, thank you guys for lighting me up. Here we go for Maureen. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, wow. So we're pulling out the Queen of Swords again. You see how much I shuffle, right? So we got a collective energy coming through here. And you have really been stepping up as a Queen of Swords. Like I said, I saw that video that you made, and you got support. You got a lot of enlightened beings that are supportive of you. and you're really able. You're like you could be a wordsmith of sorts. I'm saying, because I mean, the Queen of Swords, that's really her main modality, is using her speech to share herself with people. Again, she does have this a little bit defense. She has this shell, you know what I'm saying? But once you are able to penetrate that shell, she's pretty soft underneath there. You know, trying to think if there's anything else that they want me to say about this card particularly. Like, you're really stepping into it. Like, you're already really good with it, but it's like, show the world how you're good with it. Show your world how you're good as the Queen of Swords. Like I said, I enjoy listening to you. You have a good voice for things. Okay, like it's pleasant on the ears. Okay, what's the next part of Maureen's message? 1, 2, and 3. Okay, you might feel like you're being a Page of Swords out there. Like maybe like when you are first starting off and you're like, what am I even going to share? What am I going to even talk about? You know, like, this is kind of new to me, but it's like, it's really not though. You're already a Queen of Swords. You know, like this is just instinctually, so they're just saying like, you feel like you're this, but you're not. You're already a Queen of Swords. Okay, because a Page of Swords fumbles over themselves more. You know, and you've had to be in control and you've had to take charge in a way, or no. They're like, maybe it's Gus, you know, maybe Gus is the Page of Swords. Maybe he's being a little vocal and he like wants to be helpful, but you know, if you're going to be doing videos and he's not, but that's an alternative meaning for that. But no, I truly get the feeling that it's like, you know, you don't realize the level that you're at when it comes to what you have to share and how you share it. Like, you definitely are worth listening to. Let's pull out the last card though, so that way I can see the full message. 1, 2, and oh, we got the 10 of Cups. So, you know, perhaps even you putting yourself out there like this and you really stepping up and realizing that you have a gift here when it comes to sharing yourself and sharing all the information, the knowledge that you have about your life's experiences. This could bring forward some true recognition and some true love. At least you'll be receiving it, you'll be feeling that. You know, it's like, I'm still getting to know the 10 of Cups energy myself, because I recently, I think a couple of weeks ago, I asked Spirit, I'm like, you're really going to have me pull this in my daily pull so that I can get a good feel for what 10 of Cups energy really feels like. Because 10 of Cups, you know, 10s are endings. You know what I'm saying? But this is not a bad ending. This is a happy ending. This is like, someone is really seeing you. This isn't, you know, 2 of Cups is like an agreement. You're starting something new. You're starting a partnership. This is like, you already have something like that, and it's reaching its ultimate fulfillment. Am I saying that right? Fulfillment? Fulfillment? So you sharing yourself in that way, like perhaps even maybe it might attract someone who is a bit of a Page of Swords type of energy. So they might be a little bit clumsy with how they share themselves. But ultimately, you're going to take control. You're the queen. You're the queen. Out of the queen. And he's looking at this. This is the thing. He's looking at that happy ending right there. So be prepared. I'm just going to see if they say anything else real quick. No, they're saying like that's really good. That is enough. Like, the only other thing, the hidden energies I would say is like, don't think about things, just do them. Don't think about it, just go out there and do it. That's what's going to bring you this recognition of true intimacy, letting yourself be known so that someone can really love you for the fullness of who you are. Very peaceful. I just get a really good feeling for you about it. I hope that helps, Maureen. Hope that helps. Oh, I'm glad. Hold on. Oh, yes. Yes. Okay, Nima, you made it at the last second here. Oh, I'm so glad that we met in Florida, Maureen. Are you kidding? Yes. I hope you're going to be coming again this next year. You know, I would absolutely love to see you again. It was such a pleasure hanging out with you. Mm-hmm. Why? Is there someone else requesting? Also, yeah, ask for one. I saw that, Victor. It's okay. That's my astrologer friend, Nima. So I'm going to pull a few cards for him. Okay. And then we're going to smoke a cigarette and end. We're going to get on out of here. Because I can feel the urge to smoke a cigarette coming. Because I can smell it. That's the thing. I can smell the ashtray. It's just little things like that that trigger you to be like, oh yeah, ready? Remember that? So I'm really going to have to clear out all the smells when I eventually try to let go of that. Yeah. Ah! Cigarette time. Oh no. What are they pulling out? Oh, the chariot. Yes. I want to smoke so bad right this second. Okay, stop. Okay. So we're for Nima. Yeah. There he is. I got you, Nima. Oh, look at that. You're getting stuck. The cards got stuck for you when I connected that on your energy. So you might feel a little bit stuck. You might be feeling a little bit sticky or heavy in your energies. Things aren't exactly flowing smoothly for you. And they're saying, yes, this is true. Got that sun card come out. Okay, last shuffle for Nima. What do they want to tell him? 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3. Lock it in. Yeah. Wait, yeah. Okay. 1, 2, and yeah, you're a talker. Yeah. Okay. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, the first card we got for you, Nima, is the Two of Pentacles. So you're in the process of alchemizing something right now. 2 aspects of yourself, it looks like. He's juggling it. You know, and it's like you can go ahead and you can maintain this lifestyle and this way of life right now, but it can't stay this way forever. Eventually, one of those shoes has to drop, so to speak. Okay, and look out on the horizon because there's a wave coming. Okay, there's a wave coming. Could be, so they're talking about, I don't know, solar energy waves is what I'm feeling like, sunwise. I feel like that's just slamming you. It's hitting you really hard. But also he looks like he's just like apathetic, like, like I'm doing this thing and I don't even know what I want to keep doing or where I want to keep going with this. You know, like, but again, he's wearing the hat of the alchemist. So this is like you are still alchemizing something. There's still more to alchemize. You're learning something from it. Okay. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, because it's time to act in a completely new way. They're asking you to shift over into like what you're really passionate about, what really lights your fire up. You know, I feel like that's part of what is you're juggling right now. And limbo is like, who does society want me to be as opposed to who do I really want to be? You know, it's the, I mean, this is the divine God rod right here, so to speak. It's time to take action with that. So they are offering you that. But let's go ahead and let's pull the last little bit. Like it's budding. It's like you're starting to think maybe like budding. It's budding off in two different directions here. Like it's really growing, this new way of behaving and acting for you. Okay. But again, you're stuck in that limbo state. But let's see what the last part of the message for Nima is. Yeah. Okay, you know what? Not only are you chatty, but let me tell you something. Your guides are chatty, Nima. They're like, I can hear it. Anyway, let's go. It's so funny to me. All right. What's the last part you want to tell them then? 1, 2, and 3. Okay. You are building something for yourself. You know, like you're putting in the hard work. You are going to like create something real for yourself that's tangible, that's grounded, that's stable. But I feel like you need to drop that other pentacle first. You need to start just being and acting in the ways that you want to truly act. Maybe you don't really feel free to do that. But they're telling you like if you do and you put that hard work in, I mean, this is the temple. Like this, it's like an apprenticeship card. I don't know if you have an apprentice. I don't know if you are an apprentice or you could be an apprentice to someone, but maybe that's how you can get into doing something that you really want to be doing, as opposed to being forced to do something that you don't want to do. I'm just going to look at the bottom of the deck. And this is going to come with some inner child healing. Like that's where some of this needs to come from. It's like you being allowed to actually work on creating the thing that you desire to create could definitely lead to some past issues and circumstances that have led you down this road and will help to heal you, help to bring you that nostalgia. And it'll feel like, wow, this is the hope and the wonder and the joy that I had when I was a child. And that's what I just really want you to bring that back forward into your life. And not, oh God, you're like, I could just feel it. It's like, I don't know how I'm going to do that. I don't know where I would even get the resources to be able to live that kind of life. But you know, with God, all things are possible, and you need to start working on that manifestation. You know, do a manifestation page, do a full moon ritual, something, and like wherever your heart is guided, you know, get out of your comfort zone. Follow your heart. Like your heart really speaks to you. Like it speaks to you loudly. You know, like who cares what society thinks? Who cares? You know, because ultimately you're the one that has to live in that chapel. Ultimately, you're the one that has to live in that temple. So be brave and be bold. That's what I have to say for you, my good friend. Oh, lovely. I am so enjoying doing these readings here for us every Friday lately, since I've been doing more than one. I really am. It's getting like it's nerve-wracking, but at the same time it's like so exciting. And now we are lighting up the real deal, and we're about to take on out of here in a second. Game design discussion. Oh, you're the best. Thank you. Oh, I hope you guys appreciated that. Yeah. I hope you guys liked the readings, what I mean. Like, I try to really tune myself out and trust whatever spirit tells me. I never know if it's going to hit or not. I get nervous. I do get nervous still. Isn't that funny? I've been doing this so many years. I'm like, I still get nervous. All right. And on that note, if there's anything else that you want to say, I'm willing to stay for a second here. If there's anything else anyone wants to ask or just comment on for me to read. I see Victor saying that there's been a lot of class solar flares lately. There has been, and I don't know how it's been affecting all of you guys, but I've been sleeping fucking great. I have been sleeping so good. Even if I wake up once, like I often do in the middle of the night, I'm still in such a restful state, and I'm able to fall back to sleep pretty easily. I don't know. I think I might sleep better during these solar flares than when they're not around. I always really, I don't know, feel like I've responded well to them, you know. Oh, love you too. Thank you. Mm-hmm. So yes, on that note, okay, I can see, like, I do this too much. This is why I try not to look at myself. I'm like, no, don't look. I'm not aging. I'm not. No. No. I'm still young at heart. Yeah, I am. I guess that is what it is. I have been more at peace because I've been living more in my truth and clearing out all the things that I feel bad about. Yeah. Hmm. You have a great weekend too, Geraldine. Thank you for hanging out, even though it's so late over there. I really appreciate you. Yeah, of course. Thank you for asking for one. You know, I've had that happen to me before too, where I go to do readings for people. I'm like, who wants a reading? And they're like, literally no one has said anything. But then again, there wasn't my same normal group of people here. So, yeah. Okay. I'm going to go finish my cigarette. It's 4 a.m. Wow. You are a committed girl. Thank you for being part of our group. For real, Jill. You're definitely soul family. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're definitely soul family blue flame collective going on here. For sure. We are the keepers of the blue flame. I appreciate your presence. I'm blushing. You're flattering me. Leo rising, man. I'll take it, you know. I'll take the flattery. And White Swan, thank you for showing up. Thank you. Yes, exactly, Maureen. We are the blue flame keepers. Mm-hmm. Very important. And the Ascension Glossary goes a lot into the blue flame stuff. So if you like that type of thing, just type in Ascension Glossary and start clicking, because she's got a lot of information in that beast. And, you know, like I said, I was guided to it without even realizing that it was going to come into my life and it was going to explain things for me that I had no explanation for years. All right. Oh gosh, I got one more thing to say. It was I just want to